the screen record.
Bonjour, nous sommes ravis.
Yeah.
I'll just have to come around.
Yeah. I guess.
Fucks it up, so we are live. You're doing live.
We're live?
We are live.
We're live.
We were just gently whispering to each other.
We were.
I think the stream had started by then.
Oh, that's good.
That's all right.
That's good. Jesse, a big round of football. Football is kind of back.
Seamless.
That was beautiful, wasn't it? Yeah. I thought I had more time. Okay, so what were we talking about? We were talking about what happened over the weekend. Freo have lost. This is huge for you.
Don't try and flip this around on me.
What do you mean?
This is huge for you.
How is it
You're
not?
a Murphy Reid hater.
I'm not a Murphy Reid hater.
Yes,
I'm
you
a
are.
Murphy Reid lover.
Are you?
Yes.
Oh, let us know in the chat if you agree with that.
I'm 100% a Murphy Reid lover. Freo lose, Brisbane
Yeah.
win, and Melbourne might actually be really, really good.
Yeah, that was a big curveball. Probably one of the biggest curveballs of the season was Hawthorn being 96 points down in the third quarter in Tasmania to the Melbourne Footy Club.
Do you feel like that's happened a lot this year with teams? Like, what does the margin end up at? About 25 points?
35, I reckon.
35 points.
Yeah.
And that it was out to about a 90-point margin. I feel like that's happened a lot this year. And there's like, you can kind of look at two sides of the coin. It's like if you're Hawthorn, do you look at the second half where you were able to not be embarrassed? Or do you have to just focus in on the first half there?
Probably. I think you probably have to focus on the first half and address that rather than take too many positives from the second half. While you might be right that there probably has been a flow of margins blowing out and then hemming back in, it was still very alarming that it ever reached 96 points when they were the underdog, Melbourne, going into that game. Their form away from the MCG this year was a question mark. Hawthorn pretty reliable in Tassie without checking the data on that. I think they're pretty hard to beat down there. The recipe was there for a comfortable, well, maybe not comfortable, but I was confident Hawthorn would win. So it'd be 96 points down. It's actually not the first time this group has done that. Do you remember that game against Port Adelaide last year? They were 73 points down before they
just
scored.
An inexplicable loss en route to like eventually being a prelim finalist. Hawthorn,
no,
but
right.
like somehow lost to Port Adelaide, who were probably one of the most disappointing sides of 2025. So
Maybe it doesn't mean anything.
I don't know. Like they're a weird team. Like they've got a funny performance in them, and I feel like with the way that they play, they seem to. There's certain opposition. If an opposition has a certain set of traits in their team, they find that really hard to deal with, and then vice versa, they can be the same from a dominant point of view on other teams where they stack up really, really well against certain other teams. So
yeah, Melbourne. Well, they torched them at the MCG, which I kind of just put down to
MCG,
right place, right time.
Yeah.
Not just the MCG factor, but just, maybe they got Hawthorn on a good night. And I don't mean to discredit Melbourne, but because the first win wasn't a shock. The exact nature of this one was a shock, and probably the result of the round, to be honest.
Totally. Well, that brings me to winners and losers. If we
didn't write anything down.
If we were going into winners or losers, Melbourne would have to be right up there for the winner.
Yeah,
surely.
And Hawthorn, conversely, would probably be the biggest loser this week.
It has to be.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of another contender. No, I think that's the clear loser.
I
of the
would
week.
say North Melbourne.
I'd say they're a loser. Yeah,
Yeah.
just a loser club. No, I'm joking.
Essendon?
Nah.
No?
The horse is dead.
The horse is dead.
It is like
So you can't, they're not even, there's not enough life left in them to even say that they can even be a loser.
not at this point of the season. It was a pretty bad loss, but 67 points at the start of the game. You're like, eh.
There was some like walking goals in this game.
Yeah, that's true.
It was
That's true.
incredibly
Look,
bad.
it's a fair shout. It's
Incredibly
a fair shout.
bad.
The Gold Coast Suns, you could put it as a realistic one. Again, I tipped against them, but it was a winnable game, and they're trying to resurrect this season, and they continue to bleed.
See, I was a little bit more with them in the Essendon basket, where I was like, this kind of just is a Gold Coast
Fair.
performance at this point.
They have something to play for, though.
Yeah, they
still,
do.
realistically, they're still a wildcard chance.
Not to jump ahead too far, but are the Gold Coast Suns actually out of the... Do you reckon they're going to be the team that falls out of the 10?
Yeah, I think they're already out.
They
of
are.
the team.
They are
Yeah,
out.
they
But
are
do you
out.
think they will be the one?
Yeah, I think that's a safe bet at the moment. They have an interesting game against Carlton, I think, late in the season. They play at Marvel. That will be an 8-point game, but on current form,
You couldn't tip them.
they're unbackable right now. So, I think they're pretty much gone. I think even the Giants will finish higher than them.
That is absolutely unthinkable.
It's absurd, isn't it?
It's unthinkable. We've actually sleptwalked. Is that a word? Sleepwalked.
Sleepwalked, yep.
You can just say sleepwalk. You don't have to use past tense there. Slept walk.
Yeah, you don't need to on both
Yeah, we've
nouns.
sleepwalked.
You still cooked it.
We've sleepwalked into this with Gold Coast Suns.
Yes. I forgot what we were talking about by the time the end of the sentence came around.
Just a couple of other winners I had, Jesse.
Yeah.
Sydney Swans.
Yeah.
No.
I thought regulation win.
Okay. I thought that was just a bit of a banana skin, poor
Fair.
form, and they just kind of went.
Yeah. I suppose they beat... I don't know if their form was poor.
No, maybe
No.
Maybe it wasn't as bad. Like
No.
the close wins, they felt like poor form, but can
Yeah.
you really judge
I
that
suppose,
against them?
yeah, they lost at the Gabba the week before, but for me, it was far from like alarm bells, as it were. It would have been massive alarm bells had they lost that game. So I don't know, especially with the funny buggers with Tim English going on in that game.
Yes.
He moved around the field.
Do you reckon that's connected to a one, Jordan Lewis,
It could be.
and a news
It could
story?
be. That's inexplicable. I suppose we will go through the games, but
Yeah.
I don't see any like tactical reason for that.
Actually, what was your take? I didn't even ask you about this. What was your take on the in that Gold Coast Suns game, the Maynard Miller thing?
With the umpire contact?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Want to do it in the game?
What's that? Sorry?
Want to do it in the game
You can do.
and not talk about it now?
Yeah. Let's probably
Let's
do
do
that.
that. Let's
Yeah.
do that.
Let's have a look at the chat as well. We do have a
Yes.
super chat. I do want to
Ooh.
say thank you to Grimsby. Thank you so much. It says hard game today. Boo for Matt Hill. He'll be back. That's true. That would have been a shocking debut, especially if you're walking to a Hawthorn lineup. You think, I have a chance for a win most weeks.
Yeah.
Technic Prism says GWS tip was unbelievable. Doggies was not. Sometimes I know ball, sometimes I don't. Well done. Tipping the Giants. Tipping the Dogs
Yeah.
was brave. That was a little bit inexplicable.
Did you feel the Hawthorn Giants game was like a bit of a banana skin? I feel like Giants are that team. Like
Hawthorn Giants?
Sorry, what did I say? Freo Giants.
Freo Giants. Oh, I think when you win so many in a row, any game becomes a bit of a banana.
It becomes a bit of
So,
a-
yeah.
But there's like, they're not going to lose to Richmond.
No,
They're not going to lose to Essendon. They're not going to they're probably not going to lose to North
they
Melbourne.
won't lose the Derby.
No, but Giants.
The Giants are
that,
pesky enough.
they're
Absolutely.
yeah, can move the ball well.
Yeah.
They got some dangerous players.
Yeah.
I think that was kind of there.
Widescreen says Fraser probably wants to go undefeated the rest of the season, then retire. Imagine that with a 100% record. James says anyone else sick of every media gremlin talking about Fraser needing to be part of the Carlton interview process. That's fair. Like that story is not going to be refreshed each week.
Yeah.
It's not going to get more interesting. And yet, I suppose it's the main narrative they can pull out of the Carlton winning by 2 points against Richmond.
It's like get this out and polish it up again. Like, here we go.
That's true.
That is so true. Rogie's having a bit of a crack at me here. I thought Hawks were contenders deal.
I know.
love you,
That's actually
Rogie.
where we should have started.
I love you, Rogie, but
That
this
is-
is
We should have
Some
opened
needle.
with this, actually. You did declare them your premiership favourite.
I did.
Yeah.
They're not. They are contenders though, right?
Yeah, they're contenders. I
Yeah.
think outside contenders.
Did you think that I was too big on them personally?
A little, yeah. But I'm also kind of just capitalising on the timing of this result.
Yes.
Because I don't really think Hawthorn's terrible by any stretch, but it's funny that you make that claim and then they lose that game. By
So do you think? And we're going to do a bit of a like premiership window type thing. Not really a window, but
No,
predictions.
more of a door.
More of
Yeah.
a door. Would they be like out of yours?
Oh no, they're still an outside contender.
So you like them as well then?
Yeah, but you put them first ahead of Fremantle.
Yeah.
and I asked you why, and you said, well, they played
can
well
beat-
against Fremantle.
They can beat the Dockers though.
They can beat them. Will they? Is the other question.
Don't know. We'll see. Rogie Riot receipts, says Mr. Harrison Carnaby. That is so true. That is so true. Yeah, he says all love.
Yeah,
That's
fair. That's fair.
That's fair.
We put ourselves out here. You got to give us a clip for our bad calls.
That's right. That's
I've made
right.
plenty myself.
Well, just like me, when I said Carlton top 6 and put them in the top 8, so I kind of lied.
Yeah,
I went big,
Yeah.
said top 6,
Yeah.
put them 7th.
you look like a genius now.
Not bad.
Because 7th is probably still on. I would have thought.
7th is on. I reckon the list was okay. It's not it's not unbelievable. It's in a weird
Yeah.
phase where they've got young players, and you kind of didn't 100% know how that was going to go.
Yeah.
I think we're probably like, it's weird because they're like they lost 7 in a row, and then they won 7 in a row, right?
Yes.
Essentially.
Yes, that's exact. No, they I think they lost 6 in a row.
Okay.
No, they lost 7 in a row. You're right, because they went opening round loss.
I saw a stat that they were the only team like ever
Wow.
to lose 7 in a row
And then win
7
That's
in a row.
actually okay. There you go. That's incredible.
Yeah.
That is incredible.
It's kind of unprecedented territory. Like
Yeah.
it's just because why?
Mm.
Why do you lose 7 games in a row?
I know.
And then
you're not actually a bad side at all.
yeah,
It's crazy.
I don't think anybody would be like particularly wanting to play them
No.
right now,
No, true.
which is a weird one.
Um,
Osvid says, why isn't Grind Myers being selected? He had 21 against Sydney, was managed the next week, and has been in the VFL since.
I don't know the answer to that question.
It's a tricky one, isn't it? I mean, the only context that I can give to that is that he has a torn ACL.
Yeah, like is it torn or is it partially torn?
Partially.
Is it,
Like
it is partially torn?
there's something going on,
Yeah.
and it's like hanging by a thread.
Yeah.
And if he twists and turns on it too much,
Wouldn't that make you more like if he's playing it all, you might as well play him in the AFL side?
Well,
you wouldn't want to like nurse him through the VFL only for him to do it anyway.
you wouldn't think so.
Yeah.
You wouldn't think that the VFL would actually make him better.
Mm.
But surely, like playing with a partially torn ACL must have a really detrimental, like mental effect on you.
Totally.
Just
totally.
the way you would move. And
Yeah, your confidence would also just be shot at.
You'd almost rather know, like, be told by the doc. Like, if you were going to do it, you'd rather the doctor lied to you
Yeah.
when they actually went to diagnose it, and they said, "No, it's fine."
Yeah. Yeah. No, I'm with you. That would
Yeah.
be a very awkward thing to be going through right now.
Yeah, 100%.
James says Sam Mitchell needs to get a new AI agent.
Yeah, a lot of AI jokes
Yeah.
around Mitchell.
Yeah.
A lot of that. Should get Claude.
Yeah, Claude's great.
Claude's good. Jesse likes Claude. He talks about it a lot.
I do.
If,
I actually just work with a guy called Claude.
Did you?
No.
Nobody's named Claude.
That's what I thought you were going to say.
We've got another one from Grimsby, a super chat deal. I think we lost cause you didn't believe enough. We lost cause you didn't believe enough.
We lost cause you. We
lost. Jeez, I'm bad at
Words.
interpret. Yeah. Is Grimsby an Adelaide fan?
Hawthorn.
Hawthorn. Yeah, maybe. Maybe it's my fault. Maybe it is my fault. Should we get to the games, Jesse?
We can. Before we get into that, I do want to shout out bets.com.au.
Yes.
Who provide game previews and predictions that are statistically and analytically driven, completely free, and also let you know which Aussie bookmakers are providing the best odds on the selected markets. Talk to me.
Geelong versus Brisbane, all the way back to Thursday night football, where we were here having the game on the projector.
Yep.
Big Thursday night watch along. The Lions were back, Jesse, 123 to 101. This is interesting because I've talked to people, and this game has just kind of come up in conversation with people that are into their footy. There seems to be a split of people that some think the Brisbane Lions are absolutely back. They can win the premiership, and they're kind of like just doing what they do, coming late into the end of the season and dominating and coming into that final season. Stop laughing at me or what I said.
You smiled first.
Yeah, I did. Or is this just a false dawn? Is this not real? Does this feel different to other times? They got out of the blocks really, really quickly against Geelong, and then they kind of almost coughed the game up. Like I think they had about a 35-point lead. Geelong got it back to about a goal.
Yeah.
They came back, and then Brisbane sort of put their foot down again. Where are you in that conversation?
That's a good question. I'm a believer. Because I think the main question for them is, can they finish in the 4? Because anything that happens after that, we can trust the Brisbane Lions when finals get brutal.
And they'll scare the shit out of teams.
Yeah, absolutely. The only question really was whether they were going to make the 4. I suppose you could say their worst form was pretty alarming, to be honest. But most teams have had some sort of alarming performance this year, except Fremantle.
Hawthorn certainly have now.
Yeah, that's right. The Cats have had their own form against Port Adelaide's probably the biggest one. The Suns game, opening round's probably a bit far removed. For the Brisbane Lions to continue for a few weeks. So you're right about the second quarter was where they got hemmed in massively, but is that the kind of the game now? As you sort of made that point yourself, like leads are blowing out, they're cutting back in, and ultimately they still win the game by 4 goals. So.
And when it's two top of the, basically top 4 teams, whatever you want to call Geelong, they're probably 7th now, but they're kind of a top 4 level team. When you got 2 of those heavyweights going against each other, they are going to go blow for blow.
That's true. Also, I feel like without remembering a lot of the numbers in that first term, at one point Geelong were 40 points down and had more scoring shots.
Yeah.
So, I think the story of that opening quarter was probably just efficiency as much as anything else. So the fact that it sort of corrected is not massively alarming, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think so. I think I agree. I think it was one of those perfect storm type games. And the Brisbane, if you look at the forwards, the medium forwards really got a hold of the Cats. Like Bailey kicked 3, Lohman kicked 5, I think, and then Morris, he's a tall, right?
Yeah.
He kicks 3 as well. So that's 11 goals.
Yeah.
Between 3 players, and they were just so clinical in this game. Like we said in the pre-game, I remember we didn't think that. We thought Geelong would be that really sort of high transition team. Brisbane would probably beat them out of the middle, have a lot of shots, kind of win the territory battle, and it kind of went the other way.
Yeah, it did. 69 inside 50s to 52 Geelong's way.
Yeah, I think they won the clearances just.
Yes, and it was +2. I think did it even out, or I'm thinking I'm thinking of a different game. But from turnover, it was 83 to 52 Brisbane's way, so the profiles did switch in this game, which is really interesting.
Do you think that because I think the biggest out at the moment, they've got McCluggage out, the Brisbane Lions, they've got Zorko out.
Yeah,
I would argue that Zorko's, for the way that they play and the game style that they play, I would argue that Zorko is a bigger out with the way that they want to play. Is that encouraging? That was the profile, the big turnover numbers without a Zorko.
Yeah, it's got to be. There's Coleman as well. I suppose they have had so much success without Coleman. Yeah. Right, so it's hard to make that case, but who else are they missing? They're missing Oscar Allen. But I guess with the way they play, Zorko is a good shout. Hard case to make with McCluggage because last year he was one of the most important players. This year there was a bit of genuine drop-off. So you could argue that he is the more important player when they're up and going. But has he actually been that important this year?
Not this year.
It's hard to make that case, right?
But then it's hard when you start to look at those things and you look at the Zorko part of it, and then you're like, if you look at their profile, and this isn't always correct just to look at purely like what they're doing offensively and defensively and look at the stats of it, they kind of haven't had an issue scoring. So the ball movement part of their game hasn't necessarily been a problem this year at all. It's more been a defensive thing.
Well, that's true. Yeah. They're ranked... The last time I looked, they were bottom 4 for scores against.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
And whereas the offensive profile, the points for stuff is actually really solid. But I do feel like there's something there where they kind of they go together. The way that they're moving the ball while they're still getting some big scores, and they've probably had games where they've pumped up against bottom teams. They're probably not scoring quite. Their offense doesn't look as connected as it did last year. Yeah. Let's say. You're
a big fan of pumping up at the bottom. Blair Doka. Blair. We've been through this. Blair's fine.
Yes.
Member for a month. I'm not sure what that banner that comes up is, the green one. I don't know if he ticked over a month, but thank you either way. It says, lads, has the favourite for Rising Star thinking changed?
Oh, yeah, I saw this. I think there's a clear favourite. Yeah. Who is it, Jesse?
No. Yeah, well, I'll probably take this one because I made an Insta reel myself on this topic.
Yep.
Since then, admittedly, to be fair, Dersmo got injured straight after that, and then we had a bye, and then he's had 2 quiet games where he's been playing forward.
Yep.
So on the power rankings, he's definitely dropped. Jagger and
vice versa. Jagger's gone.
He's gone from strength to strength, and Harry Dean is also firmly in that conversation. I think you could even argue those are the top 2 favourites.
Dean and Jagger. Yeah, I think so too.
I think it's thin margins enough where Dersmo, if he returns to that form, he'll throw himself right back in that conversation. Yeah. But as it stands right now, that call has had no momentum since Dersmo got injured, unfortunately. But I think right now it'd be Jagger.
I think it's always just an easier horse to back, the accumulator type midfielder over someone like a Dersmo.
I still think at that current point in time, had you cut the season off at the time I'd said it, I still think Dersmo would have been the right choice. But I get your point. You can't really see Jagger having too many quiet games. No. Right? So that's fair enough.
He's going to stay consistent, and they tend to reward that. Having said that, I am interested if Dean was to continue to play as well as he's been playing up until this point in the season. I am interested to see how much weight they would put on first-year key defender. Yeah. Because what he is doing is quite incredible.
I think that's a valid argument.
Others have done what Jagger's done.
Yeah.
This is a great season. He's doing really, really well. But how much have things changed for Carlton? It's incredible how bad their season was looking. And then now to have 7 wins in a row, and you've got Harry Dean, you've got Jagger Smith.
The top.
And
When was the last time a team had the top 2 favourites for the Rising Star?
And one's a key defender in his first year.
Yeah.
It's
I mean, I don't
mental.
know what the odds actually say who's 1 and 2, but like you could justifiably say they're basic. If they're not 1 and 2, they're 1 and 3.
I'm gonna have a look.
Yeah.
I'd imagine
Like that's got to be rare, very, very rare.
it's rare.
I don't
rare.
even reckon the expansion teams had that with their dearth of picks.
Dearth isn't dearth.
I don't know.
Dearth
Just
is like
throw it out there.
dearth is the negative.
Yeah, I think you're right.
But
yeah.
I got what you mean. Jagger is clear favourite now
Yeah.
in the odds.
Fair enough.
$1.72. Dersma is second at
Okay.
$4 though.
Yeah.
So it's kind of it's not close anymore.
No.
Where it was sort of neck and neck. Dean is in third, paying $7.50, and then Gothard at $14.
I'd like to know though this time last year where Murphy was because I reckon a lot of the chatter was around Levi.
Yeah, and like I remember us talking about it a lot late, and it was Curtin.
Curtin was in the mix. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought at one point late in the season I would have had him leading it. Then Murphy kind of just continued.
It definitely helps when you're in a successful team. All 3 of those teams were good last year.
Yeah.
So, like, that definitely helps your case.
Don't say that too loudly around Freo fans. It'll annoy them.
Why? Because there's someone taken away from
Is
Murphy.
it, saying that it's
All the other players he beat were also in good teams.
yeah,
In
Levi.
fact, arguably better. Adelaide and Brisbane last year.
true, yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, particularly Brisbane.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Shoe Snatch and Willie says, Lions, thank you for the super chat, by the way. Lions waking up greatly spices up the flag race. Felt like Freo's to lose otherwise. The potential three-peat versus maiden flag is a great narrative. We're gonna have a conversation in the Australian tonight.
Great chat.
About who it is, about the flag race and who can win it and who can't. But it occurred to me, I was like, you're a Fremantle fan. This season has just been almost perfect. And you're like, we're just poised for some success here. The only thing that could have roused some doubt is seeing Brisbane do what they do over the last 2 weeks.
I like how you said aroused out.
Roused, I said.
I think you said
I don't think I said aroused. Either word would have
I
worked.
hope you did. I'm going to take it as you said aroused doubt.
That'd be the one thing where you're just like, didn't need that.
100%, because they would have been thinking, we've timed this perfectly. We've got good as a juggernaut
Yeah.
is dying.
True.
And Brisbane are like, we're not dying yet.
No. Yeah. They've become what Gold Coast threatened to be.
Exactly. Do you reckon if we went back to the beginning of the season, more people would have had Gold Coast above Freo?
Yeah, probably. Yeah,
It's
I
that-
reckon they would have.
It's that
Yeah.
crossroads moment of the elimination final, right?
Yeah.
It's like, who's
Yeah.
better? And Gold Coast went, well.
What happens in the finals leaves a lasting image. Right
Yeah.
or
I
wrong.
thought you were going to say what happens in the final stays.
Stays in the finals. Well, Fremantle will be.
What does that even
Wait,
mean?
no, you don't. That's not good for Fremantle either.
No. But we are saying, everybody, Brisbane are back.
Yeah.
And they're spicy. They're very, very spicy.
They are.
Sydney and the Western Bulldogs, Jesse.
This did overlap heavily with my beloved West Coast Eagles. So I'm sort of caught some cliff notes from this game. I watched like bits of it around the Eagles game, but some interesting talking points. But other than that, not a result that really got the tongues wagging.
You touched on it earlier. I think like one of the in the wash, a lot of people were talking about Tim English.
Yeah.
What did you think about all of that?
Yeah, so for anyone who didn't see it, Tim English didn't play in the ruck. I was watching the Eagles game and I was looking at the stats for the other game and I was like, Grundy's had 61 hitouts. Or he was smashing him throughout. I was like, Lob's second on hitouts. So where's Tim English? He must have got injured. Doing some further research. Turns out like English was playing like forward and back. I think he was playing on Kerno at one point.
I think he was.
And then he play forward. I know that I understand that the argument that's going to be made for moving him around is that the Bulldogs have some soldiers down in their forward line and the back line that doesn't really cope with talls, and Sydney actually have some good talls now. But I can't imagine Bevo actually thought it was a good idea to put Tim English in the back line.
This has to, like, we know Bevo's a serial tinkerer.
Yeah.
Like, he loves to fuck around.
Yeah.
Loves it.
Yeah.
But this one feels like a little bit more personal. We
Yeah.
did a trade rumors video like a week or so ago, right?
Yep.
And we talked about Tim English. And one of the things I said that you hear about Bevo is he doesn't really like, not that he doesn't like Tim English, but he doesn't like him as a ruckman.
Yeah.
He prefers that more physically imposing type player that gets in the face of the opposition. Where Tim English is like he seems like a nice guy, right? He's a little bit more passive. So this feels like connected to that Jordan Lewis comment on the couch on Fox Footy where he said he'll be very, very surprised if he's at the Western Bulldogs next year. It feels like there's a link there.
Yes. I don't want to perpetuate things that didn't come from a credible source, but there seems to be a bit of noise that there is a fallout in that relationship. Again, take that with a huge grain of salt. I haven't heard that from anyone.
I'd be staggered if Jordan Lewis went with that off nothing.
Yeah.
He didn't just make it up, did he?
Yeah. So the question just becomes, is this is the word petulant behaviour by Luke Beveridge or petty?
Yeah,
Is it petty?
that's his brand,
Because
though.
that's absurd.
Yeah, but he does.
He loves it.
I mean, he's like grabbed journos in toilets and put them up against the wall.
Yeah, right.
Have you heard that stuff?
No, actually I haven't.
Yeah, he's like confronted, like journalists that have said negative things about him, for example.
Yeah.
He's confronted.
I hope so.
He's confronted them physically.
Yeah, right. Wow. Okay, I haven't heard that.
Not that
I've
really
seen
has
his-
any. That's like completely two different things.
Yeah.
But like
if one's true, the other must be.
he's rogue.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think he tore into Tom Morris. Remember the day before Tom Morris got cancelled? That all snowballed from that.
It did too.
Yeah, it was like the next
From
day.
that, like your conflict of interest is significant.
Yeah, something like that.
like-
yeah.
And he's like, what did he say? Channel 9 backs me or whoever it was.
Yeah,
Channel 7?
that's right.
There was like this
Yeah.
face off.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that was good times. Anyway,
We got a super chat here from Bonk Choi. Thank you, mate. The only thing going against Brisbane is that they time their run late and will have to go against Freo at Optus or Sydney at the SCG in a prelim at this rate.
that's what they do.
Yeah.
I don't think that really is the issue.
I think Brisbane Red Hot can absolutely win against Freo at Optus and
Yeah.
can beat Sydney. But that doesn't mean I'm locking that in as my prediction. But I'm just saying that they can. Fremantle also have no fears at the Gabba, clearly. So it almost doesn't really matter where that game is. Maybe I'm talking shit. Maybe it totally matters. But I feel like in a big final.
I don't think it matters that much either.
Not in a big final,
Yeah.
I reckon.
Brisbane have sort of consistently shown us, well, at least the last, that their two premierships, they've shown us that they don't really mind getting on a plane.
Yeah. Excuse me. Who did they? That was a weird noise I made. Did they beat anyone in 23? Like, what was their finals run in 23?
That's a good question because they were top four that year.
Yeah, they would have been. Yeah. It's just a matter of did they lose a final and have to win away? Yeah. They beat Brisbane they beat Geelong in 24.
Yeah.
I'm not even going to try and go down that rabbit hole because I'm just going to
Yeah.
distract the stream. But you're right though. They'll have to go the long way to some extent,
They will.
unless they can win in week one in a qualifying final. Let's say they get Fremantle. If they win that, then they actually host the Gabba.
Which is clearly better for them, but like I'm a bit the same. Like I feel like that clash, if they get Freo, it's just a big game wherever it is.
Yeah.
It's massive.
Yeah, and it's Freo's probably least wanted opponent.
100%.
as well,
They would
right?
much rather play Sydney or
Hawthorn or Geelong, I reckon. You'd way prefer
Yeah.
than a Brisbane Lions.
looks
in my opinion.
likely to be Brisbane at this point. Though Shadow Light says, what's Tim English worth in a trade, Jesse?
Well, he's had a good year, right? Like generally speaking, he's proven his value to the Western Bulldogs.
Yeah.
So the value of the player is reasonable. Does it diminish if Beveridge tanks him? It's only been one game, but Beveridge could be diminishing that value.
You'd think with where the ruck rules are headed, there's still going to be a bevy of suitors for
Yeah.
someone like a Tim English.
I'm trying to think. I reckon he was drafted in 2016, but I reckon he was an overager.
He was in the Andy McGrath draft because I just went back over that draft yesterday.
He's an overager too. He was drafted at 19.
Oh, was he?
Yeah, so he'd be the same
I didn't
age as
know that.
Wiedering, I reckon. I'll double check that for
Okay.
absolute clarity.
He'd be 29, wouldn't he?
Yeah, so he'd be 97 born is my guess.
I
and I'll
reckon
just
if you
confirm that.
redrafted 2026, he'd be like the third best player in it.
2016.
Just about.
Yeah. I'd
Shea Bolton.
I'd need more time with that one. McCluggage in that draft.
McCluggage would be
Bolton.
1, probably.
Yeah.
Bolton 2, English 3.
Could be a video that we do. Griffin Logue.
Yeah, well, he'd be ahead of English and Bolton and McCluggage. So probably 1 for Griffin Logue. Absolutely.
Yeah. What would he cost though? I think you're looking at a first rounder.
Yeah.
He's heavily
first-
contracted.
Late first rounder?
Yeah, like if it's Geelong, for instance, which it may not be, but if it were, they're first.
Yeah.
That's a little bit, it's a little bit unders actually, because it'd be like 24. Pick 24 for Tim English is a bargain, but again, it remains to be seen what the Bulldogs, like, how they value him.
Can you imagine that if the Cats got like Bailey Smith into Tim English.
Well, that's a factor I didn't actually think of in the moment, but they're unlikely to do a generous deal there.
Yeah, that would piss me off if I was a Western Bulldogs fan.
No. But he's contracted now. They'll get their revenge if it goes that way.
Yeah.
But that being said, what can Geelong offer? They have
Not much.
Yeah.
Not much. I mean, there's nothing really there. Where I was thinking about this through the week as well with the Western Bulldogs, because we talk about their key position defenders, and this it kind of goes into this Tim English thing because he was forced to play a defensive role. We get there's always this discourse around the Western Bulldogs, and even on Fireball and stuff, you've got Kingy and Corn having arguments consistently about the Western Bulldogs. Kane often credits Sam Power, the list manager at the Western Bulldogs, for how good the recruiting is. And I do agree with him on the recruiting. But is this just a massive oversight that they haven't been able to fix this key position defensive issue? If Corn's talking about the Kangaroos, for example, I just see a little bit of hypocrisy there, I suppose, because Kane will be talking about the Kangaroos and he will be like, Brady Rawlings didn't get a key position defender in. But then he says that Western Bulldogs have the best list in the comp.
Yeah.
And Beveridge isn't getting enough out of the list, but they don't have a key position defender. So what are the rules?
What's the rules? I'm going to take a punt at trying to be on the other side of it. And I would say the Bulldogs at least have really been linked to those key backs over the last few years. So they went hard for Wilkie. They went hard for Butts. And some others probably that are escaping me right now. But by contrast, Brady Rawlings did explicitly say that they were happy with what they've got. So there is a difference there.
Yeah. I mean, he said that after they didn't get anyone.
Fair enough. Yeah.
So,
Fair.
I think it's one of those ones where it's I assume that there was some sort of communication there to North Melbourne that don't fucking drop your heads because we haven't got a key position defender.
Yeah.
Because we couldn't get one anyway.
Yeah. I mean, that's probably valid.
But
very valid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just it seems like a problem year upon year. And it comes back to bite them.
Yeah, you're right. I'm trying to. I'd have to think back on which players the Bulldogs have realistically gone for as far as key defenders go, and who they missed out on. But you could then just say, well, their drafting has kind of ignored them. I'm trying to think of the last. Buslinger they spent a first round draft pick on, but it's probably time to pivot from there.
Yeah. You almost need to those key
O'Donnell
defenders.
was SSP too, wasn't he? Because he was a cricket convert, so that's not a big investment there.
And he's not he's a defender, but he's not a key defender.
And they traded Rory Lobb as a ruck forward and turned him into a defender. It's not really the same thing.
They just cannot get that position right.
Yeah,
shows you how hard a good key position defender is, which is why Harry Dean.
Yeah, I know. Right,
going back.
That's
to that
why you bet
stuff.
on him at pick 3, right?
Exactly.
Shadow Light says the rules, Dylan, is that Corns has a vendetta against Bevo. So while he's honest in the list assessment, it's biased against Bevo that's decades old. I think there's something there.
I think there is something there.
Yeah, it's just blowing up the list, inflating the list so he can target Bevo.
Yeah.
You could see that.
Yep. Good tactic.
Yep.
Good tactic. Bonk Choice says Treloar to replace English as number 1 ruck. Yep.
I like it.
Yep.
Well, they did draft Caleb May as well in the mid-season draft as a ruck.
True.
And they've got Smith and Emmett.
They do.
So they've got some real young guys there.
They do. Particularly Emmett. I think Emmett's a good one. But still nothing really coming through with the from a key defensive point of view.
They are also sniffing around Bailey Williams.
Sniffing around Bailey.
The West Coast Eagles ruck, not the existing Western Bulldogs player.
We touched on this.
We did.
I reckon there's a bit of truth in the statement that Bevo sees Bailey Williams as a better ruck than Tim English.
It's pretty brave. I love Bailey, but he's got some work to do to eclipse Tim English.
How good is Tim English in the ruck merry-go-round?
He's been going pretty well this year. He's not in that top group, that's for sure.
He's not a Grundy.
There's a pretty strong cohort of rucks at the top of the competition.
Do you feel though there's this year there's more of a gap? It's like if you've got a good ruck, awesome, and if you don't, not awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, probably true.
Like as in Jackson. Look at the ladder.
Yeah.
Who's the best ruck in the comp right now?
I'd say Gone still. But
yeah.
Jackson is conceivably there as well.
Yeah. So Melbourne have gone from a team that people thought was a bottom 4 team.
Yeah.
They've probably got like equal to the best ruck in the competition right now, Max Gawn.
Yeah.
They've gone from a nothing team to kind of fighting for a top 6, maybe even top 4 at a stretch with where they are on the ladder. Fremantle have Luke Jackson. They're top of the ladder at a canter.
Definitely not a coincidence there.
Sydney are second and they finished 10th last year. They've got Brodie Grundy. Ruck rules changing. Rucks. Coincidence?
Yeah. No, I think there's something to that. But is there an outlier there? What about the Geelong Footy Club?
Geelong are an outlier.
Hawthorns aren't.
They're not good.
Shooting
No,
the lights
I'd
out?
put them in the shit ruck category.
Yeah.
Is that why they have this inconsistency in them? Like, because if you looked at, like, Hawthorn were the team that you probably expected that were going to push on, and they haven't come on. You know what I mean? Gold Coast.
Yeah. Adelaide have been going with McAndrew. He's been going pretty well for the context, but he's also not in the top group. He'd be promising. You categorize him as promising, so not in that top group. And
he's
they're
28,
going okay.
isn't he?
I don't know. I don't know how old he is exactly.
I don't think he's super young.
No. But still, you'd still think he'd be develop even at 28.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I don't think he'll ever be like a top category ruck.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just wonder with the ruck rules, it seems to have. It's never going to be perfect. Where it's like every team in the top 4 that has the best rucks, and like that's how the competition's evened itself out. But it feels like the teams that maybe had a deficiency there have gone south a bit, and the ones that were weaker last year that have a good ruck have come up a bit.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, at the risk of going on this tangent too much further, but Tim English, didn't the Bulldogs have a massively inflated win-loss record when he was in versus out? I think that's probably corrected in recent times now. So if we revert the conversation back to Tim English, you'd say he's pretty important. To
Very
the Bulldogs,
important,
right?
yeah, incredible. Which is, again, more bizarre that Bevo
Yeah.
moved him.
Yeah.
Why? Like, I remember
against Grundy as well.
Against Grundy, I remember when a journalist asked Bevo about moving Aaron Norton to a key defensive post because like to cover for their key defensive woes, and he laughed at them.
Yeah, yeah.
And then put Tim English in the back line. Like he's rogue. And Rogie actually said, "I'm not Bevo," because I keep calling him Rogue.
Yeah. Shadow Lass says, "I love the Kingy hot take that if you don't have an elite ruckman in the top 6, you can't win the premiership."
Is that a Kingy hot take? Is it?
Apparently so. I was listening to Fireball on the way here, but I didn't get that far. That if that's true, that can only be true of this year because McInerney and Ford are premiership players. Who was before that? Collingwood. Darcy Cameron was a good player, but not top 6. You would have thought.
No, it hasn't been. But how much is this year going to change that? I still don't think it's going to be one of those things where it's perfect. Does this mean that if you don't have a top quality ruck, you're not going to win the premiership? I don't reckon that's true because I reckon you can always find ways to get around it.
Yeah.
But there's definitely something in this season that rucks are rising to the top.
Yeah.
If your team is also good.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But anyway, Sydney won the games.
Actually, I'll just throw another question here.
Yeah.
So where does that leave Harry Van Haddam?
Well, it's more of a question for you, isn't it? That I'll flip back to you, right, as the draft guy. But do you mean in terms of how clubs will value him?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you'd think that would only help his stocks, right? But it does seem like there's a bit of movement around that top 3.
It does seem like there's a bit of movement.
Yeah, I reckon we're far from establishing who is the clear pick one.
I reckon this is as much of an open number 1 conversation as you've got what?
Grass all over my leg. I've not been outside at all.
Interesting.
Continue.
Thanks for bringing that up.
No, but it's so weird that it had to be mentioned.
Like
clippings? Foliage off me.
Okay.
Anyway.
We've got 138 in the chat. Excellent. Thanks for being here with us.
You came in at a good time.
You did. Harry Van Haddam. What was the question again?
You asked it. Where does it leave him? And what does this mean for his draft profile?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's probably that's what I was saying. I was saying that this is probably the most open we've had since maybe 2024.
Yeah.
In the Lawler,
yes.
Fino Sullivan, Jagger Smith, like Harvey Langford even. I reckon any of those guys could have been the number 1 pick. I reckon it's opened. I reckon the National Championships has just opened it up even more.
Yeah.
I reckon you've got Van Haddam, who will still be strongly considered just because it's a rare player to get in. I reckon you got Archie Butler, who's just done a collarbone also and injured for most of the rest of the season. But
Damn.
he's an exciting forward mid-type. Gus Teixeira, right in the mix. Maybe a little bit back from that, but still a chance would be like an Ethan Drever, I think.
Yeah,
as well.
okay. Pick one contender.
Possibly.
Wow.
More of an outside. I think if someone said you got to put your house on it, I think I'd be like saying Gus Teixeira
Yeah?
just about right now.
Wow.
Yeah.
And
It's
you can
correct.
find all of Dylan's exclusive draft insights, firstly on his channel, at Dylan Alexander, but on truefooty.com.au, we have a trade and draft pass for members. So if you become a member, you can access Dylan's draft rankings and your trait tracker, which I think is a lot of fun.
I love the trait tracker. Get on the trait tracker, sign up to the website, and you will get it and you can ride it with me. Mr. Harrison Carnaby says, interesting
Gross.
point you make, Dill. Now back to the grass on Jesse's leg.
Yeah. Thank you. I don't know what is going on. It's like my brother-in-law once told me a story how he woke up in the middle of a flight and he was covered in like cake. He hadn't been eating cake.
Yeah.
I'm reminded of that story right now. I've got grass all over me. Anyway.
Yes. No, it's good that we went down that path
no,
again.
I'm glad we revisited.
Shadow Light says, I concur with Dylan on the ruck situation in the comp currently. So while I love Kingy's take, there is such a greater influence demanded upon by what midfields can do and should do in a game. Gold Coast floor, I guess, on the midfielder part of that. I do think as well, like coming into finals, I think like over a season, maybe a really dominant ruck can kind of get you out of a bind more often than not. But in a big game, it falls more on the midfield.
Yeah, I would agree with that. So I'm distracted here by Bong Choi, who says, how Will Edwards hasn't got a rising star nod is beyond me. He took Norton to the cleaners. That's true. I must admit, I was in and out of this game because my team was playing, but I've read good things about Will Edwards. And have we had the rising star nom this week? It's usually out by the time we do the show, I feel.
It normally drops around this time. I'm forgetting a there's a big performance. Was it Noel Mraz?
He did have a really good debut.
Yeah.
So-
Shocking game for Hawthorn, but
Yeah.
he did well.
Yeah, I don't think it has been updated. Oh, no, hang on. Zeke Hewland, he also had a huge game.
He did too. He had like 35 off
Yeah.
half back. That was his first time playing half back role.
Yeah, gotcha. There you
that's
go.
that's a good call. He's had a quiet start.
Yes.
Zeke
Yeah.
Hewland. So that was
Yeah.
I reckon that getting that move to halfback really, really helped him. Technoprism says Hawks have lost to Gawn ×2. Jackson, English, and Briggs was an opening round outlier and a draw to Cameron. Only beaten Grundy of the top rucks. Wonder if this is true of any other team with stinky rucks.
That's a great call.
Great
I
call.
love that little data set there.
That's a You've done so well there, Technoprism.
Well done.
If you could just do little nuggets like that and send them to me before the stream.
Preferably before the show.
yeah. That would be absolutely awesome. Joel Falconer says Wardlaw broken toy. I think it was a hamstring, but he might have broken a toy.
Yeah. Threw them out of the trolley.
Yeah, that's what I thought he was going with that, actually. Throw your toys out of the pram, I think is the expression.
Yeah. I think I said trolley.
Yes. We'll move on.
We shall.
We'll move on. So Adelaide defeated the West Coast Eagles. And as we do this, Jesse, almost every game feels like I'm asking this question. You shit the bed in the first half.
Nah. Yes.
Yeah. Why do you do that? Oh,
I don't know.
it's like some psychological thing in your brain. And you're like, nah. 99-74 was the score, but you got pantsed up early.
Oh, we did. Yeah.
It was a bad performance.
It's an
And then you-
alarming thing when you look at the numbers across the Eagles season. I didn't actually go as far as to work them out. I remember saying in a stream after about round 7 or 8 that the average score against us in the first quarter was like 39 and it was like 7 hour away. And I've kind of forgotten what's happened between now and then, but against Carlton, it was 41-14. And in this game, it was
Yeah.
39-8. And the game was almost over in 5 minutes. Like it was a 30-point lead in 5 minutes. And
Yeah.
the 30-point lead is, well, it was proven to be enough. But it's very hard for a team like that to, like West Coast, to erode that.
Because this looks fine. 99
Everything
to
else
74.
was fine, yeah.
If I read that, I'm going, this is completely fine for a
Yeah.
West Coast Eagles team. And there is those developing, rebuilding teams. There's always that conversation of like they're judging themselves on like periods of quarters, right?
Yep.
Like, can we win a couple of quarters? And in this game, like you clearly have. I don't actually know the quarter by quarter breakdown, but
It was a 1 point loss in the second, even third, and we won the last quarter.
Yeah.
So other than quarter time, you take out the first quarter, it is an even game. Obviously, you can't do that and say that we would have won had we not had that first quarter.
Of course not. But even like, can you look at that performance holistically and say this was a good performance?
It was a weird one. From the eye test, it was a frustrating game where some of the worst clangers we've had were out in full force. So it wasn't
early
throughout. Even it was a weird game where watching us sort of hem back the lead very slowly, you kind of didn't really realise that the score was A, not getting worse, but B, actually getting a little bit closer. Because while maybe some of the numbers started to even up and we got a little bit more territory, particularly in that last quarter, the howlers were still there. So it didn't feel like we were playing particularly well.
Anyone that you want to single out?
All the senior players were pretty poor, to be honest.
I feel like it's the same thing with West Coast every time.
Yeah.
So the guys we just brought to the club, really, really good. Franco, awesome debut. I'm sure like Harley Reid was good.
Yeah. I actually copped a bit of heat because, not heat, but disagreement. I didn't give him votes this week.
Okay.
But universally, everyone was like, he was in the votes. He kicked 0 goals 4. I didn't think he was great, but maybe I'm wrong. But Franco was great. 9 tackles on debut. He had 7 in the first half. But, like Doug and Cole, even Kelly for 3 quarters, Yo was probably worst on ground, to be honest. So
he's having a tough time, isn't he?
Yeah, remember we did unpopular opinions and I think it was Reef Luke, said that Yo's become a bang average player. And I was like, no, let's not extrapolate a few games of form. Since then, he's gotten even worse. So fingers crossed he comes good. But
he does feel like the classic case of he's cooked.
Maybe. I do want to stop short of having that little ageist bias when a player like drops in form, we think, he's done.
Yeah.
And it's possibly true, but I'm also like, maybe he's just got a bad cork that he can't work through.
The thing that scares me with that type of player, and there are outliers to this, like Dangerfield, what he's doing right now. Dangerfield would have been one of those players to me that I went, he'll get cooked at like 33 and then he'll struggle after that because he kind of relies on his pace and explosiveness. Yo does a bit too.
Definitely.
So they worry me, those guys.
Definitely. Well, Dangerfield really like reinvented as a power forward, really.
Yeah, he did.
Right. So like Yo's nowhere near as good as a forward. He'd have to be a defender. But at the moment, he's just not moving well enough to justify even being in the team, to be honest. So, but overall, like I think West Coast don't need to be too dirty on this result. I think you just have to look at the first quarter and look at the trend across the year. It's been a real massive trend for West Coast. You take away those first quarters and I'm not saying we win more games necessarily, but everything looks a bit better because we don't end games at quarter time.
Yeah. My takeaway from watching West Coast over the year has been that they always look really hungry to me. Like the pressure is always there. The quality's not there, but they're always like, they're kind of hunting in waves. Like they're pressing really hard. And
they go deep in games too.
Yeah. And just the overall intensity of the game feels there. Whereas like when you watch, even at times North Melbourne, who have obviously had a better season this year, we don't always have that intensity there.
Yeah.
Essendon clearly don't. Richmond don't a lot of the time.
I remarked many years ago when the Eagles started this rebuild, I looked at the Adelaide Crows, who I would put in the same bucket, like dearth of talent. Hey, I used it correctly.
That was right.
Dearth of talent, but played competitively, were tricky to play against. And I said, I want the Eagles to be like that when they eventually start to move up the ladder. So from that point of view, I'm pleased that that's starting to happen. We also had 13 inside 50s to none in the first few minutes of this quarter. Well, first 10 minutes of this quarter, the last quarter. We annihilated the inside 50s we just couldn't score because we're not very good. But we'll just look at the chat. Rogi says Eagles a chance, Jesse. I think it's a reference because I said the Eagles were a chance. At the conclusion of the game, I don't think that's a terrible call, but it did look diabolical at quarter time.
Yeah. Oh, that's right, because I forgot about that.
I talked us up.
You did talk. Yeah, you said this is one we could pinch.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking in my head, Adelaide feels like that just diabolical one for West Coast. But
we play them okay at Optus.
Yeah.
Again, remove the first quarter and we're like, okay.
The score doesn't lie.
Yeah, it's about right.
The score doesn't lie.
Yeah. But on the Adelaide Crows, we should mention them. They did at least win the game.
They played what was in front of them.
Would you? Yeah. Again, I don't know if Adelaide Crows fans, despite us giving a little bit of praise to West Coast Endeavour, and their fitness seems really good as well, but I don't know if Adelaide fans sit back on that result and think, well, that was good, given they just got pants by Port Adelaide. So there's a little bit of a mental thing there, right? Where you're just like, I would have loved a response to. It's not necessarily about the margin being 25, but Adelaide stopped in that last quarter. West Coast threatened to run over them and just didn't have the talent. And Adelaide defended well. That's also a factor. But it didn't feel like Adelaide coasted. It felt like they were made vulnerable at times. And had they been playing a better team, they might have been in danger. So I don't know if this was the most reassuring performance from Adelaide point of view. I think we made a good account of ourselves, but I didn't feel like we were playing the Adelaide that we know that they can be.
It's so funny because I reckon 2 weeks ago, going into that showdown game, we were talking about, well, maybe it was more me than it was you, but I was kind of thinking they could get this top 4 spot. Like it's up for grabs.
Yeah.
And then since then they lose to Port inexplicably, and then they kind of have this this is kind of a nothing performance for them.
I would describe it as nothing, not concerning, but far from convincing.
If they went out and beat you by 100 points, like you'd go, yeah, but would you I wouldn't be taking that as they've, they're back and they're going to win the premiership.
Not. Yeah, and therefore we can only extrapolate so far out of this performance. But it just, I thought there were elements where Adelaide, they'll look at that and think we need to work on that.
It shows a mental, I think the loss to Port Adelaide shows a mental fragility because the top 4 was on the line. Yeah. They could have been in the top 4 right now if it wasn't for that. Now they're going to be fighting with Brisbane. They've got Geelong there. Probably only one of those 3 teams is actually going to get the top 4 spot. So they've kind of let that go, I feel, after getting knocked out in straight sets. If they had a comeback this year and made a top 4 spot, that would have been a really, really good season.
It would, yeah. And it's still valid. It's still, viable rather.
Yeah.
But every 4 points you drop against the rest of the competition it makes it harder. And they did leave 4 points go begging.
Yep. Mr. Harrison Carnaby says, is Hugo Hawker-Hahn an A-grader or just a good role player in a good role?
We need more. He looks pretty damn good.
He looks nice, doesn't he?
Yeah.
I'm sort of, I'd say +2.
Yeah, as a starting point.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's some potential for him to improve on that.
Absolutely.
Probably not +4, but...
+4, that's going just crazy.
No, I'm just setting what's realistic, right?
Yeah. I think the maybe would be maybe he can be a +3, but...
Yeah, well, that's why I eliminated +4.
Yes. Yeah, you did it perfectly.
Thank you.
Actually.
Yes, you could say I did it dearthily.
Bonk Choi says, can't get a read on Adelaide this year, just like GWS and Geelong.
I suppose every team except Fremantle has some sort of caveat, to be fair.
Yeah. Is that a little unfair on Geelong to throw them into the GWS category? Because
into the GWS category, yeah, but they've lost 4 of their last 5.
Yeah, true. It just feels like they've been against good teams and they've been quite close.
Absolutely have. But I think they've been a little bit short of what we'd expect.
Completely.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'd describe Geelong as all over the place though with those performances where the Giants are really a role. They are bipolar.
Yeah, they're by themselves, I reckon. They're their own category.
Hard to compare anybody to them.
Absolutely.
I mean, you would even, to be honest, I'd even throw Hawthorn into there as much as I would Geelong.
Yeah, okay.
Based on that Melbourne performance.
Yeah, that's a real curveball. I love that word today.
Yeah.
But again, I think what saves Hawthorn in this is, if you want to use that word, well, it's also the fact that this happened last year against Port. And it's well, okay, it was just a one-off then.
Just a quick segue onto this. So in 2020, I guess it was 2024, Sydney lose. Yeah. Didn't Sydney lose to Port by 90?
Yeah. It was 112.
112.
Yeah.
And then they go on to make the grand final. And then obviously, as people do, they extrapolate that stuff and they say that was a warning for what happened in the grand final.
112 though is pretty nuts.
But how do you make a grand final? Was that a warning, or are those two things just completely exclusive from each other? Losing to Port Adelaide by 112 and then getting smacked up in a grand final?
Probably exclusive from each other. But
I don't want you to, I'm not trying to lead you to that.
No, but I get your point. I do think though it is alarming to imagine, and I don't know if it had ever happened before, it may have happened, but a team that finishes minor premier that was distantly ahead of the competition at around 10 or 11 of that year, all the metrics with Sydney are so much better than everyone else, to lose any game by 112 points. And I think it was one of those games as well where it was 70-0.
They didn't score. It was incredible.
That does imply a fragility. It absolutely does. Whether or not it's what lost them on the grand final day, I'm not sure.
It's in the same way, I think you can have the conversation about Carlton, right? So Carlton, I always felt like they had a fragility under Michael Voss
Sure.
and what they were doing even in those finals. So people say they were 3/4 away from a prelim final, right? Because they were 5-0 up in a prelim against the Brisbane Lions. They lost that prelim. In the end, like that wasn't particularly close, right, that prelim.
No,
Like
I think it was like 5 goals. The
it was like 5 goals it went. So it wasn't like they lost by a point. And then they had that, remember the elimination final, either a year or 2 years later to Brisbane where they're like down by 10 goals.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah,
like
I think
six-
it was like 10 goals to nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Were they signs that Carlton were like a little bit like this?
Yeah, but both instances, those were the Brisbane Lions that won premierships. Whereas we're
Yes.
talking about Port Adelaide and Melbourne are good, but
Well, 2023 wasn't Brisbane weren't premiers that year, were they? Wasn't that 2023?
sorry, grand final team.
Because that was that would have been to put him in against Collingwood.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. I got the year wrong there, but still,
That's okay. I'm just.
I'm
like-
not sure. They were the underdog in
Can
both
we
of those
read
games.
Can we read the tea leaves? Like, are there little like snippets like that, and you can go, that team can't win the premiership because they do those things, like a Hawthorn, for example, right now. Was that such a terrible performance that we're like, we've got to rule them out?
You know what? I've just thought of an amazing counterexample. Geelong only lose one game and it was by 14 goals. I reckon they lost by 84 to Collingwood in 2008.
This is good. I'm because
Yeah.
I'm not.
They did
like,
lose the grand final though.
They did.
But yeah, they did lose the grand final. That feels a stretch though to say that's the same thing.
when you lose one game.
Yeah, I think it was one home and away game, and then you also lose a great game of footy by 5 goals against a team that they were not there yet, but they would eventually become one of the greatest of all time too. So probably apples and oranges there.
Yeah, it's really interesting. I want to see what people are saying here. So Harrison Carnaby says, does a massive loss just give other teams a bit of a blueprint? I don't know. I don't think it's about a blueprint to beat you, because I think teams know what the blueprint is, but they have to execute it. When you're talking about like the top 4 to 6 teams, it's like it's execution of a plan. They kind of know what their weaknesses are and where they have to get on top.
Yeah.
It more like, I think those big losses potentially more show like a fragility.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And like the Sydney one felt like that because they obviously had the 2022 grand final against Geelong. They had that Port Adelaide game in what was otherwise a really, really good season. And it felt like Brisbane in that 2024 grand final with Sydney.
Yep.
It felt like they just physically just beat them up.
Mm.
And they kind of got in their heads really, really early.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
That's my take on it anyway.
Ruggy says, just on Swoop Luke's Instagram, Nick Dacos has already matched the 2025 Coaches Votes winners, Anderson and Smith's 103 from last year. Still 7 games to go.
Holy shit.
That's ludicrous, isn't it?
Is that like a little bit disappointing? Again, like Dacos has been I think he's going to win the Brownlow this year, surely. There's just no one else.
Yeah. He does seem so far ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I can't even think right now of like Heaney's having a great season, but he's more like Heaney tends to be a bit more of that moments player
Yeah.
than the consistency of a Dacos. I can't think of anyone else that's having anywhere near a season.
No, not anywhere near. I think the other contenders would be Smith, Newcomb, Bont,
Smith's not going to win it.
Dawson.
I gave Smith a tip earlier in the season, but jeez.
Yeah, right.
That's not the tip.
I'm going to go to the bathroom as you do that.
But yeah, Dacos has really come home. What I was going to throw out there, and Rogie won't agree with me clearly because he's a Collingwood fan, is Dacos winning the Brownlow this year? Does it feel less of a positive because Collingwood aren't really doing much? Like he has that game at the weekend where like he's incredible against the Gold Coast Suns. They get over the line, but like you're fighting at this point, you're fighting for 10th, essentially. I wouldn't mind just knowing what people think about that. Bong Choi says Dacos is very deserving this year. He fixed the one criticism I had of his game, which was a lack of scoreboard impact. Dacos has always kicked goals. He's always kicked goals, I think. Don't know what the stats are on that, but I reckon he has. Widescreen TV, ladder position wise, where do most Brownlow medalist sides finish? Feels like a lot of them is that middle third of the ladder. It's true. It's true. So Rao last year, what did they finish? 7th? I think it was 7th. Giants were 8th. Giants were 5th. And then they would have been in the 6 or 7 category. So yeah, like somewhere there. Port Adelaide, Carlton. Carlton were finalists. It also comes down to like how many mids are in your team, right? Like how many possible vote getters and stuff like that. But it doesn't tend to be like the best team in the comp, which probably hurt Dacos in previous years. Spaniard says no, because he should have won it in past years, so we don't really hate that. Yeah, like fair. I guess you just want him to win it at this point, so like he doesn't have that. It feels like he's got a monkey on his back. I'm probably just looking at that from an outsider's point of view, but yeah, like he probably deserved one, but like I guess that it's a weird award. Like they're hard to win. Rogie says, I think it's harsh to say it means less. You want your team to win, but winning a Brownlow is never a bad thing. That is totally fair enough, and I think he really wants to win it. I think he does really want to win it.
As a fan of a team that has had Brownlow winners in years you don't do anything, like the season's done, it's final
a nice
day,
buzz.
It's grand final week, you're pumped.
I don't mean like we should care about it. I more meant like, do you reckon Dacos, how does he feel about it?
Same thing. His season will be over by grand final week, so there's
So
probably
he'll just like that
he's probably had a mindset shift. I think he'll be pumped. Yeah, I don't think it matters too much. You should have seen Carlton when Carlton fans in blue abroad when Paddy Cripps won the Brownlow. It means a lot for the night.
Yeah, I don't think
Matt Pritters winning it was a real highlight.
Really?
We finished 9th, and it was like one of the biggest like bombshell Brownlow winners.
Yeah, because it was a cool. Yeah, true. I didn't think about it like that, but like, yeah, I can't imagine. I suppose it depends on the player a bit. Like, I can't imagine being like that pumped if like Sheezel won the Brownlow, and we finished 10th.
No.
Like,
you're a closet North hater, though.
it's just the way I'm wired. This fucking team. They dragged me back in. Teresa Jade says Dacos wants it. It's important to him.
Yeah, that seems evident.
Yeah. What's your take on that? Like individual awards?
Yeah, you'd love to think your players are just motivated by team success. But I feel like Dacos and a few others around the league are probably a different breed where they grow up believing they're going to be the best.
Yeah.
And therefore, part of his AFL dream would be that individual success, especially when people are already talking about him as the best in the game. There's a different layer that top players think about that maybe Sheezel's not thinking around those terms right now, you'd think. He'd be thinking team first.
Yeah. Yeah, fair enough.
Even someone like a Jordan Dawson probably would care more about. I'm not saying Dacos doesn't care about team success, but I think certain individuals are probably wired differently.
Why does Dacos have such a "I want to win the Brownlow" written all over him? He does, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Let's just say it. He does seem like he wants to win the Brownlow.
Yeah, I think it's for that reason. He's grown up a winner. High draft pick, son of a great Collingwood player, brother, played in the AFL. Like he's always had I presume, I'm extrapolating on an impression, that he's always had the mentality of I can be the best and I want to be the best.
Hades Shade says one of the reasons why Merritt is looking at Hawthorn so hard.
To win the Brownlow?
Yeah. Well,
imagine that. Imagine he goes to wins the Brownlow next year.
I think he's more talking about that personality
of
winners.
Okay. Yeah.
Why Merritt wants to leave Essendon. There is an individual chip in the brain.
Yep.
I think is probably where that's going.
But in defence of Merritt, he's also done more than a decade at a club that has only treaded water and then gone backwards several times. So I empathise with that a little bit. Yeah. But the manner of how you do it is also important.
Yeah, it's not a Jason Horne-Francis.
No, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, or a Campbell Chesser.
Or a Campbell bloody Chesser, the bastard. Playing for Carlton VFL. Teresa says, oh no, there was another comment I was going to read that was in response to something. Inferno Trees, and he's already won a flag.
Yeah, good shout.
Good shout.
Yeah.
Good shout.
In fact, it's probably like inflated in importance now because they're out.
Totally.
Out of the mix. So it's probably...
which is kind of going full circle.
It's a little bit like Bruno going for the assist record in the Premier League.
Exactly, because Manchester were playing for nothing. Isn't that right, Jesse?
It is.
Melbourne and Hawthorn. Melbourne did defeat the Hawks.
Yeah, was there much to say about this game?
Not a lot, really. We've kind of talked about it a lot.
We actually have. I was being sarcastic because it was a ridiculous game.
Yeah. So 35 points, the D's won by. What's the craziest thing about this? The fact that it was against Hawthorn, who are currently third on the ladder and were making a push for the second place, maybe on the ladder, or the fact that it was in Tassie and Hawthorn never lose there anyway.
Yeah, I think that's probably more alarming. Had this happened at the MCG, it's still crazy because of the margin.
Yeah.
To wait for it to get to
What-
96
what-
points.
I was going to say, it got to 96 points.
Like 200 was probably on at one point. Not margin, but score.
Yeah.
Absurd game of football. The alarming thing, I guess, secondary to the margin, I would say the Tassie element, because Melbourne have already torched Hawthorn at the G. It's not as though I didn't think Melbourne had the capacity to beat Hawthorn.
Yeah.
The Tassie factor, Hawthorn, I think somebody said in the chat, they've won 12 in a row there. And B, Melbourne haven't won away from the... they've won like one game away from the G. I reckon that was the Bulldogs at Marvel.
Yeah. Yeah,
They
they haven't
won
lost.
that, didn't
It
they?
hasn't been quite that clear cut, but like,
No, they lost to the Bulldogs.
yeah, and I
So
don't-
they beat West Coast at Marvel.
West Coast. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Which is
That's a tough game, but yeah.
sort of doesn't count, does it?
It
Let's
doesn't
be
count.
real.
Yeah. It's very layered, the craziness of this.
Yes. I don't have a lot to say on it, other than they just completely demolish them.
You summarised it well. Noah Mraz was a rare highlight on the day. Was it his debut?
It was his debut.
It was his debut, yeah.
Yeah.
So he finished with 12 marks, six contested.
Yeah,
That's insane.
These type of sleeper players, like they're hard because he got drafted in 2024 in a really strong draft. He was like
Yes.
an AFL Academy member that year.
He was also highly rated prior to his injury, right?
That's
So
right.
he started the year with
That's what I'm saying. Like
credentials,
he's an AFL Academy guy out of Victoria, which
Yeah.
is like generally seen as like the best of the best
yeah.
in that squad. Had an injury, kind of just. I think just because there were so many good players at the top end of that draft, he ended up falling down a little bit, and he went at pick 35.
Yeah.
So it was still relatively high.
Yeah.
We're talking like he basically went when Shanahan did
Yeah.
in the mix of a player like that, or like a Jack Whitlock.
Was it 24 draft, was it?
24.
Yeah, okay. For some reason it felt longer ago than that.
No, it was.
Yeah.
It's not so long. So like then they can just put him in the VFL
Yeah.
essentially for all of 2025, and he comes in now and plays really, really well.
Mm. Yeah, no, it's a great result for them, absolutely. And him as well, who's battled injuries. Look, I've got a stats rundown, but a lot of because the second half evened up, none of them are that juicy. 59 inside 50s for the Hawks and only 27 shots
They
a goal.
had 59 inside 50s in this game, did they?
but only 27 shots a goal. Melbourne's defence and intercept game was very strong.
No Wizard, no Hawthorn.
I think there's a lot more going on in this game than no Wizard. Again, I think I don't have those quarter by quarter breakdown, but I reckon at halftime those entries were a lot lower. So I reckon they came in a flurry. They must have kicked heaps in a row. Let us know in the chat how many they kicked, because I do remember following the flow of it. I still think we don't have the question, the answer to that question. How are they with Nick Watson? Because without him, because this game's, you don't want to say. It's such an outlier that it's likely to be a one-off, but you don't want to also dismiss it just because it's Hawthorn. We'd be slaughtering another team. We'd be slaughtering Melbourne if they lost this game in the same manner.
Yeah,
right?
we would.
So-
If Melbourne had lost this game like this, we'd be saying they're cooked.
Pretenders, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
like
right.
Their season's over.
But outstanding result for the Demons. That has absolutely enhanced their... I don't know about premiership credentials. It feels like they're a little bit far back, but they're not far off that group.
It's not like it's unprecedented, though, that a team could fall down the ladder like they have that, staleness under Simon Goodwin. They get a new coach. We know, like, they've still got good players. They've got good young players coming through with those, like, good experienced players. I've seen crazier things than, like, them making a run to the grand final.
Yeah. Yep.
I'm not saying that I think it'll happen.
No. It all comes down to those finals matchups, right?
Yeah.
And where they finish. They've answered a bit of a question about their form away from the MCG. It's certainly not only MCG now, but there has been some average Marvel performances, and I reckon they've got a few tricky Marvel games coming up in the back end. I can't remember who against, but I feel like the D's have at least
They
one
just
or
feel
two
so
more.
dangerous against good teams, though. So
Yeah.
you almost think that, like, they're more likely to drop a banana skin game against a St Kilda.
I think I have their record here against.
Yeah, let's have a look.
Oh, they're 3-3 against the top six. So they lost badly to Fremantle. They lost to Sydney in Sydney. They lost to Adelaide in Adelaide. But they've beaten Hawthorn twice, and they've beaten Brisbane by 2 points at the MCG a while ago now. But also not at Brisbane's low point.
No.
So,
Lemon King says it was 12 goals, that is, that they kicked in a row.
yeah, wow.
Kenoth says no Watson, Battle, Impey, Reeves, Amon, Weddle.
No, yeah, that's true. That's true. I mean, is Weddle a big out for them right now?
Oh, yeah. As a ball carrier.
Yeah.
Decent.
Watson in battle and Impey.
Impey,
And
Amon,
Amon, yeah.
and
And
Weddle,
Yeah.
like, as a ball mover. That's a
I mean,
tricky
fair
one.
enough.
It's still a fucking bad loss,
Yeah, I
though.
don't think that answers the mentality part, but yeah,
Yeah.
it's fair to point that out.
Yep, totally. We'll move on. GWS defeated the Fremantle Dockers, Jesse. Can you believe it? 109 to 88. 109 to 88 against the GWS Giants. The Freo Dockers have lost.
Yes.
You were so excited. You were calling me. I had missed calls on my phone from
Didn't
you.
happen.
You were texting me.
I was, yeah.
I wasn't getting enough of a reaction out of you. I'm like, give me more.
Is it the loss that Fremantle needed to have? Let's start there.
No. I don't think you need to lose.
No?
I don't think you need to. I think the conversation with Freo has more been about like the idea and whether this is right or wrong. I just think it's more been about like, when are you playing your best football?
Yeah.
And there's going to be an expected downturn. I'm not really into that. Like you need to lose for like a wake up call as much.
Well, the idea is perverse, but I think history shows that teams that dominate too well or don't have a slump in the home and away season often get found out. Geelong that I used before was an example.
In 2008.
Yeah. Richmond 2018.
Yeah. Well, that was kind of their only really dominant season, wasn't it, Richmond?
From a home and away point of view, yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't beat West Coast. Just putting that out there.
Didn't beat West Coast.
Didn't beat. We lost by 8 goals. But
Is
actually, let that hang for a minute.
Do you think it's a loss they needed to have?
I don't think you need to lose.
You think the same thing?
No, I was being a smart ass and it didn't land.
Okay.
Was it a loss? I do think there is a sense, though, honestly, of like a little bit of relief. It's like, okay, if we play shit now, history says that the slump will correct itself in September. It's a good time to have a slump. If you believe in that sort of thing, it is a good time to have a slump. The biggest blow for them, honestly, out of this game is not the 4 points. It's Hayden Young.
It is Hayden Young. I was going to get to this.
Yeah.
So was it a calf?
I think groin.
Groin.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let us know in the chat if we're wrong about that, but I thought it was a groin injury.
I do remember David King talking about this, and he was saying a few weeks ago that Hayden Young just shouldn't be. So this is a conversation about Freo.
Yeah.
Should they be like gunning for these wins so consistently and playing their best team consistently, or should they be nursing the run home, trying to keep their players as fit as possible, given the fact that they've banked enough wins, they can't really be displaced from the top of the ladder?
Yeah, it is a tough one because I think had they lost this game and rested players, I think the rhetoric would be they're playing with fire.
Okay, yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's a little bit of a lose-lose from that point of view.
Sure.
In this specific case of Hayden Young, I haven't really followed the flow of his individual season enough to be like, was this a good time to rest him?
Yeah.
There is an argument to be made around putting him on ice. That being said, I mean, how many games has he played this year? Let's find that out because you'd also want him to have played enough competitive football, right?
Continuity as well.
Yeah, exactly. So there's that too. So I don't know if I really blame them for that. It's just an unfortunate thing.
Yeah.
He's played the 9 games this year.
It doesn't feel like he's ever really like hit his top form. He's had a couple of games where he's played really well, but I don't think like he's been that. What was the year that he really broke out and he became
It was
like
last year, I think.
I don't think it was. I think it was the year before.
I thought last year was his career best season, or did he get injured?
I thought last year he got injured,
Then
and
it was
the year
probably
before was the year that he like really broke out as a player.
Yeah, I'm a little blurry on that. He has played the last 4 games, so this was his 4th game in a row. You could have easily made the argument that it was time to rest him, but who knows? It appears we have a guest.
We have a guest. We have somebody.
Is it Cal Toomey? Is it Tom Mitchell?
I don't know. We don't really have a guest, guys.
What
There's
is
somebody
that?
just ringing my doorbell. Probably a parcel.
Yeah,
Could be a parcel.
good band. Parcels.
Yes.
Let us know in the chat if. Spinkscape says, my favourite part of this duo is when Dylan stares blankly at Jesse after Jesse has said some smart aleck comment with a straight face.
That last one that you said to me, I just kind of like, I was actually tired. And I'm like,
fair
I
enough.
actually don't even know what you said.
You have had a big day. You have had a big day.
One thing that jumped out with this game for me was the forwards that really dominated for the Giants. So Jake Stringer kicked 7. Toby Green kicked 3.
Yeah, 7. A 7 for.
A 7 for. Like Jake Stringer kicking 7 for against you. Do you think that type of player, Freo, have a bit of an issue with containing? Like that sort of, again, that medium forward type player?
I think that type of player can be tricky for anyone, really.
It can be tricky.
It's hard to...
We mentioned it with Geelong before.
Yeah. I guess very few teams would have a genuine like hybrid player that can go... I mean, you have hybrids that can go with tall and small, but there's the medium size, your Fogarty's is probably another one as well.
Yeah.
A little bit of a different...
He's a bit of
player.
a stringer.
Yeah, different. Like I think String's movement's probably a bit quicker. I would say off the top of my head, Fogarty's a little bit more stand and deliver.
I think Fogarty's easier to contain because he's more of a lead up.
He is, but he's so strong. So if you put someone short on him, like he'll wrestle him and beat him in that way.
Yeah, true. Stringer's got more power.
Yeah.
I think for sure.
In any case, yeah, you're probably right there.
So who would be the best equipped defender at Freo to take someone like that?
And
then to extrapolate, like who when they play a fit and firing Brisbane Lions, when you've got Bailey, Rayner, Lohman, Morris, who's taken all those guys?
I need to have a look at their team. I'm actually looking on truefooty.com.au.
Cox.
We've added a best 23 builder.
You can probably bring it
Well,
up.
Cox and Pearce, obviously.
Cox, Pearce,
Ryan, Chapman, Jordan Clark, Judd McVeigh.
See, none of those 3 smaller guys feel like they're powerful enough to go with like a stringer type.
Yeah.
Like Chapman's
Chapman's really athletic and tall.
Chapman's athletic, but would he have the strength?
Probably not.
He's a skinny little man.
Yeah. But...
Warner.
Yeah. Well, yeah, Warner.
Warner's a
that's
good shout.
one. Yeah.
Warner's a good shout.
Yeah.
Yep.
A couple of people showing love for Parcels, the band. Good stuff.
I didn't even know that was a band.
Yeah, great band.
Yeah, okay. Parcels.
My favourite. Anyway, sorry, where were we? I'm not sure they have a direct player there. Maybe Fremantle fans can let us know. Whatever, many of them are left. But in any case, I think not a massive concern, this one for the Dockers.
No.
Outside of the injury for Young. But as for the Giants, their form against the top 6 is unreal.
Yeah.
For a team of their standing.
This was exactly the same last year.
They've beaten 4 of the top 6. But they finished 5th last year, to be fair.
Yeah.
The D's, the Hawks, the Dockers, the Brisbane Lions have all lost to the Giants to different extents.
And the Brisbane Lions got fucking smacked by them.
They did. And Geelong next week. And Geelong is a bunny team for them.
They are.
So that'll be fascinating. Because that'll almost push Geelong really out of the top 4 race, I reckon.
If they lose, yeah.
Geelong,
Geelong are getting to the point where they have to win out to make the top 4.
Yeah.
Just about.
That could be a huge curveball for them.
Yeah. Do you think there's still a chance that the Giants could make the 10?
Yeah, I did a ladder predictor today, and deep in the season, they were still in the 10. But I'm clearly going off recency bias there.
Yeah, because you just feel they can beat anyone.
Yeah. I think there's a chance, put it that way. I don't think they were in my 10 when I finished it.
The funny thing about this game was that they actually had a lot of young rookie players in the team.
The Giants?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We had, God, now I'm not going to be able to think of all of their names. They debuted... They debuted guy with the rat's tail. They played Delana.
Your boy.
My boy Delana. Yeah. I've forgotten his name. Anyway, a lot of young players.
So they are definitely transitioning the list, and their youth is pretty good.
Their youth is good.
It is good.
It's strange that they're so competitive, to be honest.
Warner and Wagner are getting shouts out, by the way. Those are good players.
Yeah, to play those defensive roles, for sure. Collingwood versus the Gold Coast Suns.
Let's do it, yeah.
Should we move on to that game?
A rip snorter.
An absolute rip snorter. The Pies defeated the Suns 104-98. And I have a little bit of a stank or bank built into this one.
I love it.
Built into this one. Dunny 1983. Nick Dacos celebrate. I don't know if you saw this, but at the end of the game, Dacos got it. And
I didn't.
he got a free kick at the end of the game when there was so there obviously a goal in front. It was 104-98.
Yeah.
They had to close out the game. He got a high free kick in the center of the ground, Dacos, and he did a massive fist pump, basically come on, that he got the free kick, and that was going to be enough to win the game.
Yeah,
It was like an icing of the game. But it just looked funny because he got a free kick, he got a head high free kick and just started going off. So Dunny1983 says, Nick Dacos celebrating milking a soft free kick like he just won a grand final. Bit of carry on from Pies after that win. They want that wild card spot bad. Lol.
A bit of carry on. Yeah, fair enough too.
Stank or bank?
Yeah, no, I think that's fair. So, but it's hard to say stank or bank because, I mean, of course they want a wild card spot.
Yeah, I suppose really what
they're criticising him though.
Is it, what's the word for it? Is that cringe?
Okay.
Not wanting a wild card spot.
Yeah, but the celebrating of the fact that they're still in contention. Nah.
No, celebrating specifically celebrating a high free kick.
Oh, no, because it won them the game in a sense, right?
Okay, so you're pro.
I'm pro, yeah.
I'm not saying that it is cringe.
Yes, you are.
I just, it was being discussed.
These are your notes.
On social media.
Social media. Was that an accident?
No.
Okay, good.
Oh,
I love that.
We have a super chat. Teresa Jade says, check Swadling stats and game time.
Yeah, let's do it.
Swadlow 2032
Swadlow, I love it.
is on. I've got a few other ones as well. Thank you very much, Teresa. Rogie says, other than Nick doing Nick Dacos things, felt that win came off the back of some of our young players' performances. Allen was huge late and kept Anderson quiet.
He's going well at Allen.
Yeah.
Linked to a move to Gold Coast and West Coast at the moment.
Is he?
Yeah, I don't think it'll happen.
He's from WA.
He is from WA, yep.
Liam Puncher, punching all night. Good shout.
Yeah.
Good shout. Joel Haver, very emotional game for the Pies, to be fair. And we'll get into that. Do you have Swadling's numbers?
He had 20 and 1. I just couldn't find his time on ground.
Rogie saying Dill is
53%.
a Pies.
53%.
53%. How many?
20 and 1.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
I'm
nice.
just going to surreptitiously plug my laptop charger in because I didn't do it before. So
go for it.
You just do something to distract them.
Rogie saying I'm not a Pies hater. I would say I'm a Pie, for a person who's not a Pies fan, I'm a Pies lover. They're not having a great season though. I can't polish up the turd.
No.
If they're celebrating high free kicks to get into the 10, I can't help it if people are talking
You're
about
more
it.
of a Cornish pasty man.
Yes. Don't know what that means, but yes.
Pies lover.
Mitch Ross says, Dill is used to the Kangas mediocrity. Pies to smash them next week. Yeah, it probably will.
I'm tipping North.
Are you? Yeah. That's crazy. Lemon King says everyone should be a Pies hater. And I think that's if people give your team shit, who cares? Who actually cares? It doesn't change anything. It absolutely doesn't change anything. Pies have not been good this year, but they're going to be fine. Maybe. Are they going to be fine? What am I saying?
Yeah, I don't know. What? You're overcompensating now.
I'm yeah. I'm like, they're going to be fine. And I'm like, shit, they're actually not going to be fine. Electro Boy says, you guys should do a video about which player from each team could win a Norm Smith medal.
Who would it be for North?
I'll just read the end of this. It says, essentially the player that best stands up in a big game.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I'm certain that if North were to win a premiership, and that's a big if, I just love George Wardlaw. I know it's a cliche thing, but I actually do just love him.
Yeah.
Wardlaw.
Yeah. Yeah, good shout. I was thinking LDU or Curtis as well.
What about Foss?
Yeah. Yeah. We can keep going.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, LDU is probably right now.
Yeah.
I kind of feel like some of those guys might surpass LDU.
Yeah. It depends if you're playing in a grand final tomorrow or not.
Yeah.
And are you?
No. No, we're not, Jesse.
No. Oh, yeah. Reed and Dersma would be the obvious ones for us.
Yeah, surely Harley Reid.
Yeah.
One of them will get shut down and the other one will blossom.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Or Josh Lindsay.
He's not in the team at the moment.
Yeah, I know. Where were we? Shadow Light says Wardlaw 100% would be a Norm Smith medalist for North.
Yeah, I can see that.
Absolutely agree. We are talking about Collingwood and Gold Coast Suns, though. My question, did you see the Braden Maynard incident and what are your thoughts on it? So initially, obviously Ben Long comes over, smashes him in the ribs. We'll start there. Thoughts on that?
Yeah, you got to. Excuse me. I actually forgot what I was going to say there. I had a note written down for it. Did he get a week for it? Like, is that
2?
He did get 2 weeks for it. That's what I stopped myself saying because I was like, doesn't sound right.
He got 2.
Yeah,
I
a bit
think.
of a dog shot.
Yeah.
Is my take on that.
Yeah, it wasn't great.
No.
And then Maynard got really, really angry and sort of action man
Yeah.
ran over. Umpires there.
Because I saw that first and I was like, he's Maynard being Maynard, but maybe he had a point.
Oh, he definitely had a point.
Yeah.
However, he does obviously come, and like a lot of the social media stuff around this has been like, oh, well, like, why is everybody focusing in on Maynard? Because like also other people, there was like other incidental contact, blah, blah, blah. But I think Maynard is certainly at that moment as he comes over to that group of players where the umpire is standing is the one that's kind of leading the charge, right?
Yep.
He's the one most likely to hurt somebody in that moment with like the intensity that he's running over with.
Yeah.
What's your take on that? And what is your take on in general, like that, I suppose, like incidental umpire contact from things like, not just from like being on field and running into them, but like something like this where I would put this in the non-intentional for Maynard, but also at the same time, very reckless because his movement towards the umpire, like he clearly knows that this could happen given he's kind of out of control of his faculties.
Yeah.
In a sense.
Yeah, I mean, the actual contact itself seems pretty soft and you don't necessarily look at that and think, oh, Maynard has really cooked that. But you're kind of just you're kind of responsible for your actions here, even if this was incidental. What was the umpire doing in the way was my first question.
Really?
I need to see it back again, but like...
Yeah, okay.
I think it was bad luck. I was being a little facetious there. I think it was bad luck the umpire was there, but you're also kind of responsible for anything that happens as a result of that. And if you
Why shouldn't the umpire have been there?
No, I was being facetious about whether the umpire should have been out of the way.
Okay.
Yeah. I presume he was just running past. It was bad timing. But yeah, as a result, Maynard is liable for what happens next. But it's interesting because on the footage, like Took Miller gives him a bit of a shove too.
Yeah, essentially like Miller's sort of trailing Maynard.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not suggesting he did it on purpose.
He's kind of trying to get Maynard away from Long, I assume.
Yeah.
He's sort of like playing that. So, but you're right. They're both responsible for their actions, of which in that moment, because of like rage or whatever, they aren't able to pull themselves out of it. It's interesting. So they end up getting, I think they've got elevated fines.
Right.
No suspension is where it's at the moment.
Shadow Light says umpire was in the middle of trying to get the players to walk away. Yeah, right.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I did hear somebody kind of go down that path, like, what's he doing there? And I'm like, well, you can't really blame the umpire for it. He's got to be somewhere.
Yeah. No, I was being silly. Maynard yelling "you are effed" to Ben Long multiple times was hilarious. I did see that actually. You can definitely lip read that.
Oh, I can totally sympathise with Maynard in the sense that like he genuinely, it was unjust what happened to him. Mm-hmm. So he obviously wants to like equalise it, but at the same time, it's like kind of neither. Like it doesn't really come into it. The fact that he's like, well, you got to let me retaliate. It's not an eye for an eye. Yeah,
that's right. Matt Rogie says that they knew if they suspended them, it would have been overturned at tribunal by lowering it down from intentional to careless. But they wanted a greater punishment than a normal umpire.
Because is it right that careless can't be a suspension? I think.
I don't even know.
It has to be intentional because that's the like defining characteristic of, or the difference between, say, like the Toby Green one where he got 6 weeks. He made intentional contact. Yeah, because he basically just runs straight for the umpire. Yeah, and he knows he's going to hit him. Yeah. Whereas Maynard didn't do that.
Yeah, of course.
And then I think once it becomes like an accidental thing or incidental contact, it can't be a suspension.
Yeah, right. That makes sense. Where are we looking? Did anyone notice that Nick Jacobs didn't get fined for melee, but the guy he was meleeing with did? Corruption at its finest, says Electro Boy. I didn't see that enough to have an opinion, but it's kind of funny.
Me too. Yeah, I was kind of more focusing in on the Maynard part, but I don't know if that's there are some instances where certain teams / players, I don't know if like they can get better like legal counsel. I don't know if it just comes down to luck, what that is really, but I mean, I don't know. Do you really care about fines when you're a fan? Like, do you really
Nah.
care if your player gets a fine?
Nah, you
Like,
don't at all.
not
You're like,
really.
oh, success.
It's on my money.
That's
Exactly.
right. Teresa says, feel sorry for West Coast if Liam Puncher is playing. Don't West Coast have 3 Liams? I can only name Liam Duggan. Who else is a Liam at West Coast?
Liam. Jack
There was Liam Ryan, but he's gone.
I was going to say Liam Reedy, but he's at Carlton.
No, I can't name any other Liams at West Coast. Liam Baker.
Liam
The
Baker.
captains, both of them.
Wow.
I did forget the obvious one.
Liam Durswell.
Yeah, true. Yeah, William. Yeah.
Oh, damn it. Rogie says Paul Curtis would have been executed. True. True. Unluckiest guy in football.
Yeah, true.
So that game, does that finish the Gold Coast Suns?
I think so, yeah. I think they were already finished, really. But had they won, you'd have to technically say, yeah, they're a sniff. But I think it does. It's 4 points against another team they're competing for that 10th spot, really.
Yeah. And going back to my initial comments about Dacos, like celebrating that high free kick, do you think that that supports the wildcard round?
Because it made this game not a dead rubber.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it probably would have been with an 8 team.
Yeah, you might be right. Let's have a look at the current ladder and where exactly they are. So Collingwood are 9th as it currently stands. Well, you'd argue that game for Collingwood is still...
They still would have been
still, yeah, critical.
They're probably both not. I mean, mathematically, they're probably both not dead anyway, even from an 8-team final system.
Yeah, correct.
But it keeps them alive a little bit more.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a fair point. Yeah.
Carlton defeated Richmond by 2 points, Jesse. Again, it was a close game between the Blues and the Tigers.
Yeah, what is it with Richmond and Carlton?
I don't know. I absolutely don't know. But it is, as I said that statistic before, 7 losses into 7 wins. Unprecedented.
Yeah, first time that's ever happened, I believe.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
as I told you.
That is, yeah, you did say that earlier. It is crazy. I don't know if this is the week to really jump up and about Carlton's win streak when it was probably their worst win of the year.
It is when you tip
other
them
than
to
the other
finish
Richmond.
top
Yeah,
6.
true.
It is
true.
then, Jesse.
Yeah, and once again, the as we said earlier, or somebody in the chat said earlier, like the Josh Fraser narrative continues when they've just won a pretty average game of footy against a wooden spoon contender.
Yeah. I suppose devil's advocate on that, like they've won a lot of games. Like we know that they're not a top level team. So they're like at best they're still in this kind of mid-table area of the ladder.
Yeah.
You're not just going to win out, are you? You are going to have these like dips and lifts and things in performance. And especially I think Richmond like do really get themselves up for these games.
Yeah.
Against Carlton. They feel like they're a threat to them. I don't know. It's not a terrible, like you can't say them winning this by 2 points is like a terrible Carlton performance.
No, not terrible, but I just mean like it's
not.
I'd love a week off the carry on a little bit.
Just give me a break.
Yeah. Which is not to say that there isn't plenty to celebrate, but you know it was a big deal when they beat Geelong. But it feels a little manufactured. Oh my God, 7. Like we didn't all tip this.
Yeah. Well,
like when they beat,
they had an incredibly soft draw.
Even just the last 2 weeks, West Coast and into Richmond.
Yeah.
I don't know if the fanfare needs to keep extrapolating.
So what would be a fair, like what kind of win, what level of win can Carlton fans be like?
Well, who have they got coming up? I think there's another game against the Bulldogs.
I'll tell you.
Yeah, they've got another game against the Bulldogs. They've got Hawthorn.
They've
got Brisbane at Marvel.
This is huge, Jesse. This is bloody huge.
You're going to say they don't leave Melbourne again?
They don't leave Melbourne. That's not what I'm going to say. Hawthorn just shit the bed against Melbourne.
Okay,
right?
that's this week, is it?
That's this week.
Yeah.
So Carlton are going to be going for 8 wins in a row.
Yeah.
They're smelling a top, like 6 possible spot on the ladder. Like if they keep winning, they could go as high as like a top 6. But Hawthorn equally are going to really want to get back in and get on the winners list, right? After that, like Sam Mitchell's going to beat the shit out of those guys during the week. Yeah, literally. Yeah. Who wins
using
that game?
AI?
Using AI.
Who wins that
I was
game?
actually trying in my head to think of something and I couldn't.
Nothing. I don't know who's going to win it. I actually think there is absolutely a chance that Carlton win this game. I think I tip Hawthorn to be.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think there's absolutely a chance.
Wow.
I don't think Hawthorn have establish themselves as being above some doubt here. No way.
Wow.
But really?
No, well, just in the sense that like you've always like when they were losing under Voss, you were always of the opinion you were sort of like, well, this is them. That's like where they're at.
Did we? Did I?
I thought so. I thought you were kind of like a non-Voss Saka.
It's possible.
Maybe.
It's possible. Either way, in recent events, like you have to, even if I did say that, you have to adjust,
You
right?
adjust, yeah.
Yeah. No, I think that if they can beat Geelong, if they can, which they have, who's the next biggest scalp they've got?
They beat the Dogs.
They beat the Dogs, yeah. No, I don't know if I count that
great.
one. The Giants away was a good win, but again, not a big scalp. This would be another huge one.
This would be the Geelong level.
I'm just saying I think they're capable. I don't know if I'm brave enough to tip Carlton against Hawthorn.
My thing with the Hawks at this point would be that like teams like that very rarely have like two. Like if they lost that, that would be kind of like two shitty. Not that you can say we don't know what the performance is going to be like, but that would be two, on paper at least, very shitty performances.
Yeah,
and they don't usually do that.
I do recall this time last year, Hawthorn fall into a bit of a hole because they finished 8th.
Yeah,
I mean, it was fine margins though. To be fair, like it was a sort of top 8 race where if you lost, you could jump down 4 spots. To be fair,
I think you're right.
But I feel like didn't Collingwood touch them up? Collingwood were pretty good last year. To be fair,
Collingwood touched them up.
I feel like they dropped off a little bit, so I'm not sure if they're absolutely above a little form slump here. But I don't know.
Could they miss the 4?
I wouldn't bet on it, but
I love how we've gone back to Hawthorn.
Yeah,
they went even
true. Yeah, they could miss the 4. With a 4, well, they had a 6-point gap, didn't they? It must be gone now.
It's gone.
Yeah, so they're 2 points ahead of 6th,
which is Geelong.
It's Melbourne. Geelong's 4 points further back than that.
Because I remember we had this conversation, and I said on Thursday night, I said Geelong could be 7th at the end of the round,
right? And
we said no, but Hawthorn will beat Melbourne. We both said that.
Yeah, but Melbourne are also ahead of Geelong now.
Yeah, but that's what it's because we said that Geelong couldn't have finished 7th.
Sorry, yes,
they couldn't have been 7th because yeah. Like on this game, the Carlton versus Richmond game, just kind of bringing it back to that. I've got one silver lining for Richmond fans. It's been a terrible season.
Yeah,
Bataj Houghton, he had a game here. I think he had about 18 disposals. Kicked a goal. I saw a bit of his stoppage work, like some in-close stuff, some replays and sort of in-close stuff of his stoppage stuff. He's just really, really dynamic. I'm excited for Richmond fans for them to get that midfield back together. Yeah. You and I, we're actually going to do a bit of a Richmond video coming up in the next couple of weeks. I'm excited to see what that best with new draftees like projected into that team. I'm excited to see what it looks like.
Yeah, absolutely. Gus Teixeira? Archie Butler?
Maybe.
Who do you choose right now? Richmond. Let's say Essendon took Harry.
Oh, if Essendon took Harry.
Yeah, you're left with Archie or Gus. I love her first name.
For Richmond, I'm trying to kind of think. Geez, like Archie Butler's just such a menace. Archie for the menace, Teixeira for the smoothness.
Oof. Got chills.
I got to make a call though.
Yeah.
Right now, Archie.
Okay.
But I'm moving. The pendulum is swinging.
Would you say that Archie, they don't have a player like him? Whereas, I mean, I'm sure they don't have the exact replica of Gus Teixeira, but they have got their midfielders.
Yeah, that's where I was kind of going with that.
Yeah.
I think Archie's maybe like, they both got a lot of pace. They're both front half threats. They can both run through the midfield.
Elusive like an eel.
Very shifty. But some exciting times there for Richmond fans, I think. And when they come up against Carlton, they sort of get a little bit of a sugar hit. It's fair to say.
It is. I do. Sorry, you got a point. I was going to.
No, because I was going to go to the next thing.
Perfect. Rogie, he says, loving the new features on the website. That's truefooty.com.au. Thank you so much. But wondering how you picture the player ratings. Is it like FIFA where most players wouldn't be below the 60s? So what Rogie's alluding to there, on the website, you can become a free member and use this tool, right? You can make an account for free and use this tool. There are paid member features on the website too. But I've kind of left it a little open-ended because it's not something that I can sort of legislate. So people can do whatever they want. In my head, Rogie, it's like FIFA, right? But we're essentially trying to determine rankings for what the True Footy audience, who they think are the best players in the game. You rate players 0 to 100 or 0 to 99. Same thing with games this year. I've created an IMDb for AFL games this year. And it's very exciting. So you can go to Game Rater and you can say, Carlton Richmond, that was about a 6.1.
It probably wasn't.
Do you think lower or higher?
Lower.
Interesting.
I was going to say.
Yeah, lower than a 6.1.
I don't know.
That's like some like real rom-com early 2000s that didn't really reach anyone.
Like a Spanglish.
Yes, that's a great call. That's a great call. I love that so much. Whereas Adelaide versus Port Adelaide, the showdown, that was a real Shawshank Redemption.
So a 6.1's really bad.
It's not really bad. There are movies that are like below 4. There's a Titanic 2 that's like 1.9 or something like that.
Really?
Yeah, nobody knew it existed.
So that would
Much
be
like a West Coast
Richmond
versus North Melbourne game.
I was going to say the Bunbury. What would the Bunbury West Coast North game
That'd be about a 1.6.
Or the Richmond versus Essendon game. Or, Jesse, St Kilda and Essendon. Because this was a fucking train wreck of a football game. I was watching and I was doing something at the same time and just started looking up.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, Jesus Christ. Like, did you... Oh, I thought you were showing me something there.
No.
There was even a moment, and it's kind of been doing the rounds on social media, where I think this game was at Marvel, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I don't have the ground there.
Yeah.
But Essendon fans are trying to leave. They're trying to go up the stairs to get out the ground. And Kevin Sheedy's like seen people leaving and he's starting to like try to convince people to go back down and sit down. Like it's a literal cult.
Yeah.
Like, you know those times like when you're in like primary school and stuff and like there'd be like a religious group come to the school and like they've locked the doors. It's like that at Essendon right now. It's so bad.
Oh, jeez. That's funny. It is really bad. They're waiting for the season to end. My team has been in this situation, so I can empathise. You're just furiously Googling AFL draft room as well. You can find that on truefooty.com.au. But we even did a video actually on Essendon this week.
We did do it.
It helps the Essendon fans pass the time.
You're only thinking about the future because right now there's nothing on the TV that's worth kind of getting.
On TV.
There's nothing on TV.
I think Maths is coming out for a new season sometime. I actually know someone on Maths this year.
Do you?
Yeah, I won't spill their ID publicly, but I reckon this is a well-known person to people.
From Melbourne or?
Yep.
Not from WA?
Not from WA.
Okay, interesting. What do you think about the Essendon midfield? So,
it's good.
Yeah. These were the top CBA getters: Durham, Parrish, Archie Wicks, Cordwell and Merritt. So Archie Wicks is a bit of an outlier in there.
Yeah, true.
Threw him in there for a bit of impact. Sharp 30%, Roby 26%. The general consensus is Essendon fans want to see those guys get bumped up a bit, particularly like if you're putting in the performances like this that are kind of just, they feel like they're nothing performances. No one's really putting in the hard yards and trying to get down and dirty and kind of test teams in these games. Like, why don't you just put a Roby in there a little bit more often?
I think that's a fair question. I do often fall back to the idea that you want to protect these guys to some extent, and I do think you need to have more in-depth or more intimate knowledge of what that kid's body's doing right now. So, for instance, Dyson Sharp, he didn't get major CBAs until round 8, looking at this sheet. Then he played 2 weeks in the midfield, and then I think he got injured, didn't he? Was it against...
Sharp.
Yeah.
Sharp did the shoulder against the Giants.
Giants, yeah, because he had 50% in that game. And then he had a layoff, and then 52% into 30%. Yep. So that could be management. But if the idea is that if they're fit, or at least somewhat fit, give them some opportunity, absolutely.
I think so.
Or mostly fit, not somewhat fit. If they're mostly fit.
It just feels double the disappointment that how much would Essendon right now, they're screaming out for wanting... They want the Jagger Smith, Harry Dean thing right now. Like, they want to be seeing that in their players, but they seem to be getting, like, they're having to watch Archie Perkins go through the motions rather than watching, say, like Sullivan Roby at full flight in the midfield. So I do feel for them.
Absolutely, but
I agree with you. There's like a balance to be had.
Sully Roby had no preseason. Even if you just look at these numbers, he had a patch of getting in the 60s and 70s. The last 2 weeks have been 22 and 26% CBAs. I think that just looks like they're managing a player that's important for the future, to be honest.
Yeah.
But of course, it's frustrating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stankel Bank built into this one
Hit me.
from Steve Levison on Twitter. Essendon offered 3 first-rounders for merit last year, and now they want AFL priority picks. Get fucked, Essendon. Talk about kick a team while they're down.
Interesting. My initial reaction is no. Like, I don't agree.
You don't agree that they shouldn't get...
I don't know if they should be punished for not making that strategic decision by the AFL.
I agree.
Yeah. It's much more nuanced than that.
I don't know if it's my... Like, I actually feel like a genuine pity towards Essendon at the moment. Like, I just think what they're going through is like really, really tough. They're in that, like, they are worse than rock bottom. Like, I don't even know if North or West Coast for rock bottomness were this bad.
Well, I'd say the fundamental difference is the off-field stuff, right? The like CEO turnover.
Yeah,
like, that's
yeah.
one thing that I don't know if that applied to other clubs. I suppose you had Reece Shaw sort of had to step away for personal reasons, and that just created some disruption.
It might be recency bias. Like,
yeah.
Don't quote me on that to say that like this is worse than that. But this feels
our results were worse.
Our results were worse, but this feels bad. It feels toxic.
Yeah.
And it feels really, really just for fans and people at the club. Like, they're still so invested, but they're just getting nothing.
Yeah, they're just gonna have to wait it out. Next year can be a clean slate, new coach, exciting playing list, and there will be some like internal hype at Essendon to see some of these guys like Darcy Sharp, Sully Roby, particularly if they get some preseason in. There's a lot more than just those 2 players. I think it will get better. But right now, it's hard to stomach for their fans. And I do empathise with them, absolutely.
Yeah, it's a tricky one. What have we got here in the chat? Shadowlight says, Essendon did choose to take the merit trade. They're not realistically getting 3 first-rounders from him this year. Well, that's an interesting conversation too. We talked about this on our Essendon video. Like, I sort of agree. I don't think they're getting the same compo.
No, they won't. No, they can't. For the output that he's had this year and the roles that he's been pushed into.
James Workshop says, they have done this to themselves.
Yeah, but every club that has done this, every club that's this bad has done it to themselves. There's no exceptions to a club that was unlucky to fall into the bottom 4. And if you were to make the case, okay, there was maybe bad injuries, they need them less. Yeah, if that makes sense. They need priority picks less.
No, 100%. I mean, if you went based on, like, there's like a rolling, every team that has not been successful in the AFL, that is down to other teams being better than them and them not being good enough to compete with those teams for whatever reason. You can say that's, you could put it down to bad luck, you could put it down to bad management, all of those sorts of things. If that is your take, in what case would a compensation pick be fair? That's what I would ask.
Yeah, it's a good question.
Jack Tower Drum says Essendon didn't have the list spots available for those late first round picks anyway.
That's right. I did see some commentary on that during the week.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not sure what they could have done there.
It's hard to know without going back.
Because couldn't they have made more list changes?
They could have. But again, at that exact moment in time, what could they have done if they'd re-signed certain players?
Sure.
Maybe. Don't know. You can push assets into the future. Either way, I don't know if that's the reason they said no.
No, we don't. We'll probably never know.
It is worth mentioning.
Yeah. Can't have clubs down too long. It's not a good look for the league, says Tubby Josh. I mean, I like the competition to be more even. I don't like...
Yeah.
I think these last few years with North and West Coast and now Essendon, Richmond to some extent too over the last couple of years. Like, it's not great when there's a couple of games every round that you just know.
Yeah. Yeah. I think a 1-win season, you are staring down the barrel of a priority pick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So whereas I feel like a few weeks ago, I think you might have put it to me around the priority pick. It might have been a Stankel Bank.
Yeah. Okay.
And I really resisted it. I was like, Essendon have not fallen away as hard as West Coast. Using West Coast as or North example prior to that, the results weren't as bad. It hasn't been for as long.
Just got some liquid going down the wrong orifice.
Okay, interesting. I have flipped out on that a little bit, and if you look at it as like 1 win in what's going to be a season and a half, then I'm starting to think they need it.
I do think as well. There's an argument of like nipping it in the bud. I think we spoke about that as well. It's like, yeah, okay, like they haven't had season upon season of terrible seasons, but like, shouldn't we actually do it now and not later?
Yeah, I think we play with fire there a little bit, because what if you do it too early?
Yeah, and then you give like
like Hawthorn.
yeah, and then you're like, oh, they were actually really good.
Yeah,
we gave them like a top pick.
Like there needs to be a delicate balance there.
Yeah, it's a fair call. It's a fair call.
It does also then spiral, not for a conversation for right now, but then you ask, like, would a top 25 pick mean anything to Essendon?
Yeah.
Right now, their issue isn't lack
not
of
that.
talent. It's not that.
100%. They're really going to struggle to attract older players. Lewis, I don't think we've heard from Lewis the entire episode, comes in with what liquid, Dylan?
Yeah.
Just, yeah.
Nondescript.
Yeah. It's actually some coffee. Yeah. St Kilda, there was another team out there that absolutely dismantled the Bombers.
Mm-hmm.
Nasiah Wanganeen-Millera has had 90 disposals in the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, absurd.
46, 906 metres gained.
I wonder what his game day score was. The game day score was. I might look
Check
that up.
it.
Yeah.
Have a look. Garcia had 29 disposals and 1 goal. Max Hall had 33 disposals and 1 goal. Wilson had 25 and 2. And Philippou had 25 as well, back from the VFL.
I think they had like 447 disposals.
That's crazy. Like it's like they were just. This is a St Kilda team that's like been pretty underwhelming.
Yeah.
For the season, and they come up against Essendon, and everyone just takes a lick of the ice cream.
Yes. Naz had 197.
197
Absurd areas.
So this brings me to a novel conversation. Yeah, penchant conversation. Who is closer to a premiership? It's in the media at the moment, Jesse.
Yeah, it's because Kane Corn said it, and then he was debated on it between these two sides. There's no justification for the fact that Essendon are closer.
No, there's not really.
There's
is
not.
there?
No.
The only argument that you could make is like historical. Like St Kilda have won 1 premiership in their entire history.
Yeah.
And just kind of putting that against them as a mark and saying like they're not going to.
Yeah, but I mean Essendon's last premiership was pre 9/11.
Yeah.
It's not like contemporary history anymore.
No, it's not. But I suppose like in answering back to that, St Kilda's last one was 1966.
But I'm sort of almost grouping them together. That's probably a bit of an exaggeration to group them together, but I think that Essendon are so far removed from that period. They're I don't know if you can.
One conversation we've had on here though, in fairness, is that like we kind of give I suppose we give a little bit of rope to teams that are of big stature.
Yeah, I actually think I know where you're going with this.
So like we've done it with West Coast before. Like there is a trust that a Collingwood, a Carlton, even though they've like it is a long time now, and Essendon are in that. Like West Coast aren't in that, but like they've got more financial might to kind of rebound back from something like this.
Yeah,
where the reason that St Kilda have only ever won 1 flag in their entire history is because they don't have a lot of backing.
Yeah.
Right. So they're kind of up against it from the start.
Is it financial might? Is it strength of brand?
Both.
Yeah, because, well, I mean, there is a salary cap, right? So they're still playing by a lot of those financial rules, and there's a football department spend, but the strength of the brand makes you want to go play for them. And that's what Collingwood have. Yeah. I think West Coast didn't have it for a while, and now they could get there again.
There's also a salary cap, but like there's clearly a lot of things that teams can do with sponsorships and brands.
Yeah.
Where they give
facilities
players,
is a big one too.
Facilities is a massive one.
Like if you're Zach Bailey right now, I don't believe he's from Adelaide as such, right? He's from sort of a bunch of different places. But you look at the Adelaide Crows and they're a strong organisation, and you'd be like, yes, I want to go play for you.
Yeah.
On the strip, they've probably got great facilities for a start. They're within the window to some extent. These are all factors. I guess where we're going with this with Essendon is that could they be a sleeping giant?
Yeah.
If they turn into some top 6 quality side, then suddenly they become a club that you want to play for.
That's right.
And they have that advantage, whereas St Kilda wouldn't. I don't think it would be as intense.
Well, we've already seen that they've had to probably pay a long way overs to get players who, like I think TDK was a genuine big name.
Yeah.
Flanders, Silvani wasn't really a big name, but Flanders was to some degree. I think other clubs were chasing him. But I suppose where I'm going with it is there is a reason that like probably the 3 lowest financially gifted clubs from Melbourne, for example, like St Kilda, Western Bulldogs and North Melbourne, have the least amount of premierships.
Yeah.
It's just a reality, an economic reality.
Yeah, it's true to some extent for sure.
Port Adelaide
Statchat says, I'd argue Essendon are no longer a club of big stature. That's fair, but I also would look at Richmond when they were dog shit for 30 years and then how quickly they reached 100,000 members when they started to play finals.
Let's be real. We're talking about a club that has the most VFL, AFL premierships.
Yeah. This
is not a small club that you can just remove that from after a 20-year bad history, in my opinion. It is an interesting conversation though. Like when do you lose that sort of penchant?
Yeah, that penchant. Joel says the question is, do you think the Saints will win one in the next 6 years? And if not, which team have a better chance after that? That's fair, but I feel like if you do it like that, because you focus on St Kilda who are a bit further along in the window, and you analyse, can this team win a flag? And the answer is no. Then they're kind of inherently disadvantaged against the team that, because there's like
against everyone else.
Yeah, there's exposure bias, if that's a word that I just made up. But like because you've seen them, you can see their flaws. Whereas an Essendon group, Essendon's just a placeholder in this point. Yeah. Because they've got shiny draft picks, then it seems more logical that team can overtake the St Kilda group where you can see their perceived weaknesses.
100% agree. I'm just playing kind of the other side of this. Yeah. To be honest, I like St Kilda's youth.
Yeah.
But they haven't put together compared to what the rest of the competition has. And like, you've still got a Gold Coast sitting there. You've got a Fremantle. You've got a Brisbane Lions who are still young. There's nothing in me that makes me super confident that St Kilda in 3, 4, 5 years are going to be better than those teams.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
Anyway, we'll move on to Port Adelaide.
Clash
defeating
of the Titans.
The clash of the Titans. Port Adelaide defeating North Melbourne. This game fucking pissed me off, Jesse. It really pissed me off.
Why did it?
Because I got invested. And I was I was even
you got invested in your own team.
I got invested. But it's a complicated relationship between a North Melbourne fan and their team. They've been so bad for so long. So when I say that, like there is a point in other seasons where I have just checked out. I was invested in this. I was genuine, and I was like, if we win this game, we are like a genuine chance to finish in the top 10. And the last quarter was just so bad. Like I don't even remember the ball going inside 50. Like there was a couple of times we kicked it to Larky, just gets outmarked, outworked. The only player there was 2 players through the midfield group that were like really getting in and under. It was George Wardlaw and it was Finn O'Sullivan. Charlie Spargo, honestly, like what is the point of Charlie Spargo? It sounds really brutal to like single out an individual.
Bubble.
Just had so many bad moments in this game. Like can probably only kick the ball about 30 metres.
Zach Langdon effect.
Zach Langdon, like that real connection piece that can't connect a piece of Lego. I don't know. I've got nothing.
Yeah.
And all of this brings me to the Stankor Bank that is built into this game preview from Froth Doctor, who's a Port Adelaide fan. Sheasel is so overrated, just a bunch of touches with no impact at all.
Yeah, well, that was kind of your game, wasn't it, this week?
That was it.
That was the team performance was that.
Sheasel had 40 and 5 score involvements.
Yeah, wow. So I knew he had 40. I didn't know 5 score involvements. But you had plus 15 inside 50s. You had plus 95 disposals. You won contested ball by 9. You won ground balls by 22, but you did nothing with it.
Nothing.
You only generated 17 shots.
Just to isolate,
That's
I don't know what the numbers were in the last quarter, but the ball was just lived in Port Adelaide's front half.
Yeah, okay.
Again, like this shouldn't be the case, but like Whitlock just owned Charlie Comben, which is a real worry. Like basically a first year key position tall.
I thought Comben played pretty well because I've got it here, 8 intercept possessions.
He played
marks,
okay, but like Whitlock
disposals.
got off the chain.
Okay.
Massively.
Yeah, fair.
Whitlock got off the chain. Parker was pretty good back there, but like the defense is a serious worry. There's always like one key position forward that really gets off the chain against us. Horn Francis killed us, Butters killed us in the midfield. They were just so much more direct than our mids, outside of a George Wardlaw who did his fucking hamstring as well.
True. Wow, that sucks.
Just a nightmare.
Yeah.
An absolute nightmare. And I would say that's our season over.
Is it season over? Well, I think that you have some really tough winnable games. And I say winnable as in like, if you're going to make the 10, these are the teams you need to beat to prove that you're better than. I think you got Melbourne, you got St Kilda, and you got the Western Bulldogs.
Which couldn't beat Port Adelaide though.
True, but they're a little bit prickly.
They are prickly. They're not like they're fourth bottom, but they're not really fourth bottom.
Yeah.
Can I give some credit to Port Adelaide here in all of this as well? Their intense press on us was so good, and it stopped us being able to like have that real cut through. They sent like every time one of our players got the ball, they were just like they just had that really aggressive, like high energy going straight to them, and they were just closing us down so much. Like every time we got a possession, we were retreating before we could go forward. So they did that so well to kind of keep the ball locked in the front half.
Yeah. Excuse me.
It was impressive.
As for season over though,
Sorry.
I would say that your season's not over because you got live like mini finals coming up.
Yeah.
I guess Melbourne's probably a little bit above that group. So those games are winnable, but do I have any confidence you'll win them? I don't, Dylan. And I'm going to gather that you don't either. So from that point of view, we probably do agree season over.
Again, like, you know, when I came into this and I said, like, I got invested.
Collingwood's another one. So.
I said that coming into this game, if you remember last week, I said we have no chance to win this game. I don't know if you remember me saying that. I said we have no chance.
I don't remember the phrase "no chance," but I
said it.
Yeah.
I said we have no chance.
Yeah. Okay.
And then you kind of like you get into the game and you're like, okay, we're sort of still in this for a chance, but then we just got owned in the last quarter.
Yeah.
You're right. We still do we've got the D's, we've got the Pies. Starting with the Pies this week though, are we any chance?
I think yeah.
So you think we are?
Yeah, I think you play all right against Collingwood, and I think the marble factor makes it interesting. You're pretty good at marble.
So why do I agree?
I reckon you're a chance. But that being said, like Collingwood in the background have starting to resurrect their season. I think they've won 3 out of the last 4 or 3 in a row.
Yeah,
something like that. They're not shooting the lights out, as it were, but they're not exactly falling off a cliff. So it will be a tough game. It'll be a tough game.
Interesting. I want to see what people are saying in the chat here. Port Adelaide is ranked 5th on Wheelo ratings, 13th with the ball, but 2nd without the ball, I'd say.
Yeah, possibly. I know they're really highly rated for defense.
Their
I'm going to
defense
say
was
without
great.
the ball is my guess, but let us know what you mean by that.
The amount of times we had to like retreat, dump, kick, and then their intercept markers just picked us off.
Yeah. We had similar a few weeks back. We were pummeling them for inside 50s in the last quarter.
But they were shallow.
We kicked like 1 goal 3 or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. There was actually a stat at the start of the last quarter, 17 inside 50s to 3 in the first 15 minutes of the final quarter to Port Adelaide.
Wow.
So we kind of just couldn't get the ball past the halfway line.
Yeah. Bong Choi has come through with a really nice super chat. Thank you. North getting outscored by the free kick count just encapsulates North's year.
Can we actually talk about the free kicks in this game?
It's a problem.
So it wasn't like, I just want to reiterate, this is not me complaining about the free kicks because I don't think we got screwed or anything. There were 70 free kicks in this game.
Yeah.
The whistle was just going all the time.
Absurd.
It was so frustrating.
We watched the Eagles North here, and that was like 55, and that was bad.
That was too much.
Even on Friday night, Eagles and Adelaide was 53, and I was talking about with my Crows supporting mate, we were like, this is so over umpired.
Yeah.
So 70
free
is
kicks.
another 20% on top of that.
Yeah. And I do think there is a part that like young developing teams, again, like they probably things like tackling, like they don't practice technique of tackling as much maybe as like some of the better teams. So they make more errors. They give away more free kicks. But there was a lot of these where you're just going like,
so over umpired. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like
it does ruin the game, doesn't it?
It does.
It ruins the spectacle at least.
Yeah.
Maybe not the game itself, but
it just slows it down all the time. There's no
frustrating.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. So that was annoying. I don't know what Port Adelaide fans think. I didn't think there was like it went one way. It was just they just basically started off. They set a precedent and they started just calling the most minor contact as free kicks, and then they just kind of had to run with it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so frustrating.
Yeah.
Felix says, Jesse has said many times the eventual premier usually gets pants at least once that year. Hawthorn coming off this week's premiership favourites.
That's right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. That's the only conclusion. Yeah.
Is that true though? The premiers.
I don't know if it's literally true. I'm sure you find premiers that didn't get pantsed.
Probably Collingwood didn't in 23, I reckon.
Yeah. Yeah, off the top of my head, I'm not sure. Rogie will come in with that fast fact soon. Brisbane started poorly in 24. I'm not sure about 25. I'm sure there's an
Yeah.
analysis that we could do
We
sometime.
could break it down.
Yeah.
Put it on the website.
Yeah, absolutely exclusive. We certainly did in 18.
Yeah. I mean, you guys weren't kind of the best team that year, though, were you?
Yeah, we were.
You were?
Unequivocally.
Really?
I
didn't mean that.
I thought you were baiting me a little, and I was being facetious.
Not at all. I mean, I thought Richmond were the best team that year.
Well, I think there's a little bit of a cognitive bias because Richmond were the reigning premiers. But in the only time that we played that year, we beat them by 8 goals. And admittedly, we form slumped and they didn't. But ultimately, we got on where it mattered. So
Okay.
I'm a biased Eagles fan and proud of the premiership. So I would defend the 18 premiership.
I don't know why that has to be a negative, though, that you weren't the best team. Like North Melbourne, I'm actually more excited for North Melbourne's 99 premiership because we stole it.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Like, it feels better.
Yeah, true. Ultimately, I suppose it doesn't matter. But I defend the premiership. The
Yeah.
idea that it wasn't,
Okay.
It wasn't ours for the taking. I think before we move on, I'll say that in 18, I thought at full flight we were the best team. We just didn't do it for as many weeks in the home and away season.
Okay. Fair. Interesting. I can't.
Sort of like GWS this year.
Sort of like GWS, who've clearly been the best team.
Yeah, if you isolate one game here and there.
Oh, love it. Was that the last game of the round?
Yep.
I was too. That's it. So,
It is.
Jesse, that brings us on to our last segment.
I do want to go to the bathroom one more time.
Okay.
I go once every hour, and we're about into our third hour now. So
Are we?
Yes.
We've gone
We'll
long.
be quick.
We've gone long again. Rogie says biggest loss was round 4 against Brisbane by 33 points. I assume he's talking about 2023. Yeah. I remember that year for Collingwood. It was just like you were so good defensively that you were pretty much in every single game. Hawthorn was 32. Joel Haber, Richmond fell off in the last 6 rounds. Yeah, like to be fair, like my memory of 2018 right now is a little bit sketchy, so I won't go too far in my opinions on that. Sydney fans love the 2012 premiership since Hawthorn were the best team all year. I completely agree with this, Tom. So like this is, I reckon when your team wins a premiership that you're kind of not supposed to win, it feels better because like you don't have, when you're the top team, winning it's more like a relief, I think, because you've got something to lose. But when you're not the best team and you win it from 3rd or 4th and it was plucky, I just think it's such a bonus premiership and it creates so much more enjoyment and excitement as opposed to just that pure like, oh my God, we won. I'm so thankful that we won. That's how I feel. Lewis says, Dylan, what would Sydney's 2027 first and 20 draft picks. What would Sydney's 2027? That is, Lewis, I'm sorry I can't answer that better, but that's probably too hard for me to work out off the top of my head, given the Tassie picks, et cetera, Like, I think Jesse and I will probably go over some of that stuff in some future videos and we'll run it down with like what that 2027 draft looks like. But certainly it won't be worth as much as like a regular draft because Tassie are going to be pulling players out of that left, right and centre. Rogie says, Dill, you have full permission to give me so much shit if North win.
Permission not necessary.
Rogie's such a chill Collingwood fan.
Yeah, he's a lovely
that
guy.
There's nothing in me that wants to give it to Rogie.
Yeah, fair, yeah.
I feel like that only comes out of me when I feel like someone's a real dick about
Yeah.
it. I'm like, I want it.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah. And we were just discussing, Jesse, like that different. I was saying that if you win a premiership when you're the best team all season, you finish on top, it's more of a relief when you win the flag.
Yeah, okay.
Whereas
yeah.
I prefer that to chase it from lower on the ladder and it feels like more just pure exhilaration.
Fair. I mean, 06 we were the top and probably the favourite. In 18, I think we were favourite on the day. I actually can't verify that. But it was somewhere in the middle. We didn't jag it because we were second and Richmond didn't make it. So from that point of view, there was that pressure, but it also still felt like anything could happen. It didn't feel like ours to lose by any stretch. So it was in the middle.
Yeah, because if you were playing Richmond, you would have been underdogs, I imagine.
Probably would have been, considering that they went 18-4, we went 16-6.
And
I would have been confident.
And they just won a premiership.
Yes, exactly. So yeah, absolutely. Richmond would have gone in favour.
Yeah, and it was at the MCG.
Yeah, that probably would have been a different feeling.
Yeah.
I don't know though. Yeah, we were also 5 goals down pretty quick, so
Yeah, true.
from that point of view, we did experience that.
That's scary.
Yeah.
To think that you could have not won it.
Yes, I do think about that sometimes. I was there in
Yeah.
15 when Hawthorn kicked like 8 in a row, and I was sitting in the stands going, "Oh my god, I can't believe I drove here." That feeling returned halfway through the first quarter at the MCG against Collingwood.
That's terrifying that you like that could have just gone a completely different. Like if they had kicked maybe like one more goal, you're like, maybe that's it. Maybe we just capitulated.
Yeah, I mean, there's a goal at the end of that first quarter where Rioli, it sort of ricochets, he stumbles over it, and it is a goal. And like if that doesn't happen, the game's probably different, right? So
the butterfly effect.
yeah.
Lewis says, Jesse happy that Alex Davies is keen to move to West Coast if given the opportunity.
Yeah, that was reported yesterday, I believe, in the West Australian, and it is up on the website. I will give my proper thoughts on that tomorrow in a True Eagle video. There's a few true trade rumours for West Coast that have popped up since the last time I did that, including Joel Jeffrey and Ed Allen. So, but short answer, yeah, it's absolutely nice when a player wants to play for us, and probably see more of a natural fit than a Joel Jeffrey for an Alex Davies.
I like that. So, Jesse, we move on to our last segment of the live stream. Who can win the flag?
Yeah, how many teams do you think can actually win the flag right now?
Actually win the flag.
And who do you want to put a line through?
Let's rule them out. Let's rule them out.
And I also want to know your order.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so power rank them as well.
It's so hard because Hawthorn just lost by...
Yeah, they were your number 1 a week ago, Dylan. Just going to let that hang like the bad fart it is.
Okay, so should we like just compile them?
Yeah, we won't talk about all 18.
Okay. Let's start with Melbourne.
Okay, starting from what I would say is the bottom of the 6 group. Yeah.
Let's talk about the Ds who are in 6th place at the moment. I think if you had gone back a fortnight ago, I think both of us probably would have been in agreement that they're not in the mix to win the premiership. They're just kind of a plucky team coming through. Has that win against Hawthorn... it's obviously not just that because they're in 6th on merit. They've been really exciting most of the season. Are they a genuine chance at winning the flag?
I don't think a genuine chance, to be honest. There are some elements to them that is really compelling. The fact that they play well at the MCG helps because big finals will be played there. Obviously the grand final, but even if they were to play an away final against Geelong, that's suddenly kind of more their home game than it is the Cats. They can trouble good teams. Outside of their loss to Fremantle, which kind of stands out, they've beaten Hawthorn convincingly twice, and their other 2 losses to top teams were away from home. So Sydney, Adelaide in Adelaide, and they've beaten the Brisbane Lions at the G as well. So we know that it can stack up against those good teams. I don't see them finishing high enough for a start. So
I suppose your take would be there's no world in which, like, to get to a grand final, there's no world that you don't have to go to the SCG, to the Gabba, or to Perth, basically.
The current complexion of the final series means that if Melbourne, I think they'd have to do it from outside the 4. And I think that would virtually necessitate, actually, even if they finish 4th, it would necessitate one big away trip at least. And you've got Fremantle in there, you've got Sydney.
What if they did make the 4? Because, like, let's be real.
Would you tip
Everyone's
him in
played
week
16. What's that?
Would you tip him in week 1 against Freo?
I'm not saying I would. I'm just hear me out.
Yeah.
Hear me out. They're in 6th right now. They're only 2 points away from 3rd. They're equal with the Brisbane Lions in 4th, only down on slightly by percentage. So they're still in the mix percentage-wise.
Yeah.
If they were to win more games than both the Adelaide Crows and the Brisbane Lions, they're in the 4.
Yeah. I could see a world where they make the 4. I still wouldn't predict it. I can see a world where they do, but I don't think they're reliable enough to back in. They'd have to go on a mad, unforeseeable run. And then, while I'm not saying that's impossible, if in terms of the rankings, they're probably the furthest back in this group. But I got to be honest, 7 days ago, I don't know if they were in this video at all.
No, they're not. I wouldn't have even brought them up.
Yeah.
I would have just glossed over them. So, yeah, no, it's a good point. I think, like, I don't know. I'm just coming around. Like, when you look at the dominance of, like, what Cozzy Pickett's doing this year, what Max Gawn's doing.
Well, that's true.
Like, Harvey Langford's seriously good. He's even, like, to some degree, probably still going under the radar a little bit.
Yeah.
They've got a player like Turner in the back line. They've still got some old, solid players like around that, or mature players around that. Van Rooyen's gone to another level.
Yeah.
He's a genuinely good key position forward, and they play better football than they used to. I don't know, like, could they surprise us? Like they've surprised us all year.
They could. Their pressure game's strong. Their territory game is strong. Their clearance profile is strong. They are pretty bad in terms of their efficiency and potency. So they're a little bit volumey and particularly at their worst this year, that connection between the midfield and the forward line, which was a cliche thing said about Goodwin's Demons. I think that's what's going to hold them back.
I sort of wonder in a big final, like, are they more dangerous though than the next team that we're going to talk about?
Well, I think they're a finals nuisance side, but I don't think they're a premiership contender.
Fair. Okay, so we're ruling them out.
I'm going to rule them out as a realistic chance, yeah.
Okay, so you want to do this like individually?
Yeah.
I've got to make a call as well. Am I going to rule the D's? I think I will. I think I will too.
Yeah.
Let's revisit this in a month.
The fact they're in this conversation just shows how much growth they've had, though.
Completely. So let's go to... we'll move down to 7th and we'll talk about the Geelong Cats.
Okay.
I was pretty big on the Cats early, but I think the body of work after 16 rounds of football, I think we're getting close to being able to rule them out as a genuine... I think they're a very good team and they're gonna shake this final series up. I'm not sure if that team is actually good enough. I think we forget how much of a transition period it's still in.
Mm-hmm.
So you've got the fact of like Brian Myers. I think he's one of their best, most important creative players. He's not. It doesn't look like he's going to be there in a meaningful way.
Yeah.
The ruck has significantly changed with young. What's his name?
Edwards
is in there. It would be a huge over all of these top teams. Like you're talking about Freo, Sydney, Hawthorn, Brisbane. It would be huge for Geelong to get above those teams, and I think they're kind of where they're at the moment.
I think they're soft. Their run home is relatively soft.
It is,
to be fair. Their record against the top 6 is 4-4. Just for clarity, they lost to Fremantle, they beat Adelaide, and lost to Adelaide. They lost to Hawthorn. They beat and lost to the Brisbane Lions. They have beaten Sydney at GMHBA. So a bit of a mixed bag there. For me, it comes down to ladder position. So again, if they're an outside chance to make the 4, I think that makes them a very outside chance to win the flag. And that's where I'd currently put them. The difference between them and a Melbourne is, could you see them going in a semi-final and playing Fremantle or Sydney away and winning? I can actually picture that. I can picture them lifting in those big finals, which is not to say that Melbourne absolutely can't, but I think...
I missed that last bit. Was that outside the 4?
Yeah.
Because if Melbourne are most likely not going to make it, the Cats are a win back from that.
Yeah.
So it's looking more...
That's true.
They're not, like, to be fair, they've got a bigger percentage than anyone inside that. Sort of 7-3 section of the ladder. So other than Sydney and Freo, they've got the next best percentage, which helps them a lot. It means that if they do win, they're straight to the top.
Yeah.
Like they get that jump on the team.
Well, that's true.
I sort of worry, as the season draws on and on, they seem to rely more and more on those older players. Like they'd have to be getting like huge amounts out of Dangerfield, Jeremy Cameron, who like still seems to be carrying this arm injury.
Yeah.
From the break from last year. So I don't know. I think it's a no for me.
Yeah, it's hard with recency bias. They have won 1 of their last 5 as well, which is compelling when, difficult opponents, but it's hard to like take that and say they'll be fine. They'll get into the top 4. They may well, but I think for now they're an outside contender. Still a contender. Which
so you
is
have
why
them above Melbourne?
I have them above Melbourne, yes.
I'm not sure I do anymore.
Yeah?
I'm not sure I do.
Okay.
The D's are winning me over.
Yeah, they were pretty good in the finals last year, Geelong. You know what I mean? You feel like you can trust them.
Yeah, totally. And they've got that experience factor.
Yeah.
What about Crom? And just to be clear here, I'm ruling out anyone below Geelong.
I actually didn't even have Adelaide in my top 6.
Wow. So Cats were in, Adelaide was 7.
I think Geelong are a more realistic chance of winning the flag than Adelaide. I think you could probably mix and match Melbourne and Adelaide, though. I probably can't distinguish between those. Adelaide did just beat Melbourne. Admittedly, it was in Adelaide. They have been on a bit of a tear, but I'm not sure if the quality through the midfield is going to be enough when the whips get cracking. And the biggest asset up forward this year, Thilthorpe, I think he's struggled with his body. So that what was previously a massive strength and would be a massive strength in September doesn't feel as compelling right now for the Adelaide Crows. A little bit of recency bias. I think the last fortnight hasn't been good. Obviously they're coming off a win against West Coast, but it wasn't the most compelling performance. And then
they really had to win that Port game, didn't they?
Yeah.
Like that would have, like they're sitting right now, the Crows, in third place.
They're sitting on third on the ladder, are they?
They would be.
Oh, sorry. I was going to say,
if they'd have, like a game that they would have expected to win.
My heart dropped. I was like, oh my God, they're third.
No, they're fifth.
Okay,
they're
good.
fifth.
Yeah, okay.
But they're like, they would be, if they had a beaten Port, they'd be on 44 points. 2 points clear of Hawthorn in third.
They've got a huge test coming up. I think it's pretty soon. They play the Swans in Sydney.
Huge.
That's huge for the context of the 4. It's also huge for just gaining some legitimacy against the team they may well meet in week 1. Let's say if they, shoot up the ladder, maybe not in week 1, maybe it'll be week 2 or 3. I think there still needs to be more shown by the Adelaide Crows.
Yeah, fair enough.
So maybe they're probably on a par with Melbourne for me and behind a Geelong.
On par with Melbourne, behind Geelong.
Yeah.
I would put, in all reality, in sectioning those 3 teams, Geelong, Melbourne, Adelaide, I would almost say for me, all 3 of them probably can't win the flag.
Yeah, so Geelong, Melbourne and Adelaide?
Yeah.
I think I give a little bit more weight to Geelong still.
Okay.
But for me, it's fine margins.
Which is funny because I reckon if you went back to the start of the season, you and I were the opposite. I was big on the Cats and you were lower. So we've sort of swapped a bit there.
Yeah.
4th on the ladder are the Brisbane Lions.
Yep. So for me, they're the number 2 seed.
They are the number 2 seed.
I'm going to go as far as to say it's a genuine 2-horse race.
So you're saying only 2 teams can win the premiership?
I think there's just a big gap between the next contender.
Yeah.
I can't rule out the other teams, but I think Brisbane are Fremantle's biggest threat. And I think I remarked earlier in this stream that if prior to their loss against the Giants, obviously, they were looking at this season going, there's not really a blemish other than the fade out against Geelong. And we look clearly so much better than every opponent we've had. They've beaten every team they've played. The one thing that will stir some anxiety is the Brisbane Lions starting to return to the best form. Now, have they actually done that? It still remains to be seen. They've put in a really good few weeks, I think 3 in a row.
Yeah, well, it started with the Gold Coast Suns, but then went into Richmond. So you're like,
okay,
is that actually...
Yeah, no, it's the more recent 2 against Sydney and Geelong.
Sydney, like that, the Sydney game was that old school Brisbane where you're like, they need to win this game. It's a massive game against a really good team, and they just punished them.
Yeah.
The Geelong game was that, but I mean, they beat Geelong in GMHBA. Like, not many teams can do that, right? So even though it was a kind of a up and downs, why do I keep doing this today?
6-7.
Is that what that is?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. It was an up and down performance, but like they beat Geelong at GMHBA. That's a win.
Yeah, no, it is a win. In a literal sense, yes.
Yeah.
Look, for them, I think friendly fixture coming into the end of the season. I think the only big contender they play in the last little bit is Hawthorn. They're currently 4th, so from that point of view, for me, they have to make the 4. We trust them in September, right?
Oh, yeah,
I'm not sure if they necessarily win on grand final day, but I think the Sydney win was the first statement, and then it was a bit of a 1-2 punch with the Cats, and I'm not sure who they have this week.
I can't tell you.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah. So devil's advocate on there, the 2 big dogs. I suppose you could say most likely, given the fixtures and everything, that Brisbane will finish 4th, right?
Yeah.
That's probably most likely at this point. They then play Freo in that first week of the finals. That makes it, I guess, considerably less likely that they meet in a grand final. Because one of them has to get spat out the back.
It means that the loser has to win an away prelim.
Yeah.
But I think of any 2 teams in the comp, it'll be those 2 that win an away prelim this year.
Yeah.
But you're right. It does statistically reduce their odds, but it does happen where grand final, it happened last year. Grand final matchup was a repeat of the qualifying final.
Yeah.
It does happen.
Most likely the loser of that game would be facing someone like an Adelaide Crows.
Yeah.
A Geelong, a Melbourne.
Both would win home games against them.
I think so. And then it would just come down to having to go away for the prelim.
Yeah.
So Brisbane Lions, the number 2 seed. I think I probably agree. I think the difference that I would have, and we'll bring this next team into it, which is Hawthorn, and I'll get your take on Hawthorn. My take on Hawthorn is they still remain a massive threat to those top 2 teams. I think they're still a bit of a sleeper now. Like that has that Melbourne performance like made me wobble a little bit, like bit of a worry, because I just thought that they were going to go on their merry way from here and just kind of bank the wins.
I agree that they are a threat, but when you actually look at their form against the top six, they're 3-3, including those 2 big losses to Melbourne.
So they're a Geelong basically against the top teams.
Yeah, they did beat Sydney quite early in the year, to be fair, and Sydney were going all right then. I think they were missing a couple that night. I think they were. But still.
They were.
Yeah. They did lose to Fremantle. They beat Geelong. So, like, yeah, as far as playing the best teams go, their record is okay. Do they have enough finals layers, Dylan?
Do they have enough finals layers? I mean, I think there's things that the Hawks do, probably like the way that they can move the ball and make the field really big with their kicking game.
Yeah.
I think they do that better than any of the teams in the top 4.
I agree, but what if that turnover game gets shut down? The stoppage game doesn't compete with Freo and Brisbane, and I think on grand final day that will be an Achilles heel if they're there.
And we are talking about, like, with these top end teams, like we're talking about teams that have like very, very... Even Brisbane, who are like a different kettle of fish, they've got Draper this year, who is a much more sort of dynamic ruckman that can get on top of the likes of Reeves and Meek in a big final. Just like the mobility of him, he's just so much more. You know, you talk about Grundy, you talk about Jackson, these kind of guys. So that is an area, and that comes back to the midfield, right? That's how Melbourne basically shut out Hawthorn in this game.
Yeah,
from a midfield perspective. So. I don't know. I like looking back on Hawthorn in the finals last year. I think they coped pretty well.
Well, they had a great finals run from 8th to make it to a prelim and then compete really well in that prelim too.
Yeah, and that was without Will Day.
Yeah,
and Will Day is back in the team now.
Yeah,
I think if anything, that team has I think Jai Newcomb's a better player than he was last year.
Absolutely.
I think Nick Watson's a better player. I think Connor McDonald's a better player.
Yeah, that's true.
You could probably make an argument that there's a couple of players that have dropped off in form, like a Dylan Moore.
Yeah.
That type of guy. Mackenzie's another one that's probably gone up as well. And then like having a Barris and Battle, like they look genuinely kind of gelled as a defensive unit now back there. So I like that part of them too.
Oh, the team balance is good, like from front to back. Like it's strong.
Their midfield will not compete with the top team.
Not in those hot grand finals, I reckon. And that's why I don't know if they're there yet.
I like them. I'm sticking with them.
Yep.
That's the top 3 for me.
Fair.
So where for you, you've got Brisbane as the second seed.
Yep.
So where does that leave Sydney for both of us?
I had Sydney in 3rd.
So you got them ahead of Hawthorn.
I think I said that there's a top 2. You can probably work out who those top 2 are. Yep. And then I had Sydney ahead of Hawthorn, ahead of Geelong.
Yep. Okay. So why Sydney ahead of Hawthorn?
Well, I think that their ladder position is a start. Right, they're just about a lock, touch wood, for a double home final, right? So whether that's, I mean, they may well play Hawthorn on week 1. I think the Hawks play okay in Sydney. I could be wrong on that, actually. I'm not sure.
I don't know.
That'd be worth looking into, because if the Hawks travel somewhere they like or don't like, that would be a big factor. But I think their scoring profile is the really compelling part. And for as much as we talk about how there might be some weaknesses and chinks and they're lopsided, they still have put far less a foot wrong than any team below them, right? Like they've been really compelling from start to finish. They've got absolute match winners. Historically, it's not finals that are a problem for them. We know that grand final day is where their trauma is, right? But in finals, they know how to win finals. And with a top 2 finish, and they get Hawthorn into a home prelim, if they win that, then they're a good chance to be there on grand final day.
Unless they get Brisbane.
Well, that's it. That's why I have the top 2 there.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Yeah, so that's the way I order it, I think.
So you've probably more gone at it from the perspective of they've kind of done the work. They've banked the wins. So they have the upper hand straight from the get-go, and then the match winners come into play from the midfield, because their midfield's objectively better than Hawthorn.
Yeah.
The argument would be the fragile mentality of and the grand finals of past, and probably the defense, really.
Yeah, that's true. Having the right personnel there is a big factor. Like in contrast to, say, a Hawthorn, they lose 1 or 2 of those defenders and you think the system's going to hold up.
I just want, if you put Sydney up against the top 4 teams, I reckon one of the, those robust, diminutive contest winners forward of the ball, all of those top 4 teams have unbelievable small forwards. Yeah. Freo have got Reed, They got Bolton.
Yeah.
You know, Dudley's doing good things. There's a balance there, but like they've got Bolton and Reid as like absolute dynamic players ahead of the ball. Hawthorn have got Watson. They've got Ginnivan, Moore, and I'm forgetting one. McDonald.
Yeah.
I'm running Brisbane. Obviously,
yeah, they
Rayner,
got
Bailey,
Baines, yeah.
Lohman, all of these guys. Tell me Sydney's.
Papley, Roses. Would you throw Chad Warner in there?
I mean,
I
you
know it's a
could-
stretch, but he is something that the other teams don't really have.
You
as
could.
much
The
of.
only thing is Sydney tend to play those guys more mid.
Yeah, that's true. But they get a lot of goals out of them.
They do.
Like Warner, what did Warner kick on the weekend? Or the week before?
Yeah, Warner against.
Did he kick like 4 against Brisbane?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, I watched that recently.
Yeah, he was incredible in that game. So
Yeah.
I'll give you that. And
They have firepower.
And Heaney, like
Yes.
kicks goals as well.
Well, that's true. Yeah.
So they drift forward, but yeah, they probably don't have that. Like, because you mentioned Papley and Roses. Like Roses is
He got
he's
dropped. Yeah, I know.
So he's not playing good footy.
No,
And Papley's not in the team.
no. But I think it comes down to a bit more than just their small forwards, right? Like they've been punishing teams from round 1, regardless of that. Now, could you make a case it might be a shortcoming in finals? Yeah, maybe. But I mean, they haven't had a great small forward combo for many years, and they've played in 2 grand finals.
Yeah.
They just need to make the final. Well, there's no such thing as making the final 3, but I'm putting them third, right? Like, you know what I mean?
They just got to make the final 3 playoff.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, the bronze medal match. I think they're third, personally.
They're third. Okay, so I've got Hawthorn in third. I would have Sydney in fourth.
Yeah.
So it's just slightly different, but we sort of got there in the end. I'm probably a little bit bigger on Melbourne. You're a little bit bigger on Geelong
Yeah.
right at this point.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Come finals, I think, yes.
And that's totally fair. I
Yeah.
totally see that. I'm just jumping back into the
So
chat.
who have you not said? Have you given your top 2?
Yeah, my top 2 is also
Fremantle first?
it's you got to go Freo Brisbane.
Yeah.
I don't know. If I do it that way, I don't know. Like in my heart of hearts, I'm probably I probably have that trust with Brisbane.
For sure. But that does actually have to run out sometime, right?
Yeah.
I think of, probably wrongly, but I think of like 01 to 04 when, on grand final day in 04 against Port Adelaide, the perennial chokers.
Yeah.
We kind of thought, Brisbane will win this, and then they didn't.
They didn't.
And
So
then it
it-
never came back for
exactly.
20 years or whatever.
There's I mean, like it constantly happens, doesn't it?
Yeah.
With that like end of an era, different sports, different times.
Just a word on Freo to tie up this video. I think they're the best team in it. They've got the most complete profile. Their best top 6 record. They're actually undefeated against the top 6 now that Geelong slipped out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they've had wins again. Admittedly, they've also beaten Geelong. So let's say they cancelled each other out. But smashed Melbourne, even when Melbourne was playing good footy. They beat Adelaide by 2 points away. Probably should have won that game by more. Beat Hawthorn, beat Brisbane. They're still yet to play in the run home. They've got the Sydney Swans this week. Bit of a banana skin, though. Just because it's a bad time for Freo to be playing Sydney.
Because you don't want to get onto like a slippery slope of...
Yeah, well, it just means in isolation this game, I'm not confident Freo wins it now. 5-day
Okay.
break, coming off a loss. Sydney could get them. But either way, I don't think it's going to hurt Fremantle.
Do you think Freo will like just soldier on? Or do you think they'll like rest players or anything?
I think it would be prudent to manage the games a little bit here, but the Sydney one could cost them top spot if they lose it.
Yeah, it's true.
Whether they want top spot that badly, I'm not sure. There's no real competitive advantage. In fact, you'd
I would
probably
say
rather
there was
finish
a,
second.
That's what I was about to say. There's a
Yeah.
competitive advantage to finish second.
Yeah, true. But then you play Brisbane in a prelim. So I don't know if you really want to manipulate it too much.
I don't think you deliberately manipulate it, but yeah, it's
They've got the Melbourne Demons at the MCG. I think that's another losable game. But either way, even if they drop a couple of those, they're still my flag favourite.
yeah. Okay, so you just think they've been so far and away the best team that they're just
Pretty much. I also think they're September proof. I know there's a lot of narrative around them not having a lot of finals experience, but they've played 3 finals as a group, and I reckon if you did an average of the premiership winning teams, there'd be plenty of who have only won premierships off that little base. It's not nothing. You don't want nothing, but they've got something there. And I think they show up in big games too.
Yeah.
So I think the mentality is strong. And I guess the caveat would be it's a different pressure when you're the hunted team on grand final day. I actually think it would serve Fremantle well to drop down a little bit and then have to try and prove people wrong.
Totally. It's like, it's coming back to that thing from a fan perspective that I said, that it's like, you're like, when you're Freo, if Freo just like won out from here and finishes on top, it's like they hit those, like it's just a relief to win.
Yeah.
At that point,
Yeah.
it puts a lot more pressure on you.
Yeah.
There's no
It's just a
doubting
different
that.
mental game that they go through.
Yeah,
right?
and like the fans will all be feeling that as well, and then they pass that on to the team with the way that they act in the stands and stuff like that, because they're worried about it. You can tell within the Freo fan base right now, like there's an angst.
Yeah.
Like they're nervous because they're in a like they're very like funny about people talking about them. They want people to be talking about them in a certain way, and it's because there's pressure.
Yeah.
That's coming with where they're at. But
Yeah, and it'll be different in September.
Exactly. We've got a super chat there from Toby Payne as well. Thank you very much for that, mate. He says, I'm behind on the stream, but Dylan, I love how you put Voss in almost certainly fucked, but tipped Carlton to finish 7th. It's a decent hot take.
That's an amazing game.
That is actually, like, you couldn't do that again.
That's unreal, yeah. Because we laughed about it at the time. I was like, what the fuck? But that was just unbelievable areas for you.
It's so Carlton.
Yeah.
It is so Carlton.
Rogie pointed out the player rated, the best 23 builder doesn't have Charlie Kerner. I will look into that as soon as this stream is done. So
Okay.
I've had a little bit of oversight. But he also says the player rater on the site is addicting. So I'm going to put a link into the chat. We've actually got a bit of an order now. You needed 3 people to submit. If you go to this link in the chat, guys, that will take you to the quiz part. You do need to make an account to be able to partake, because you need to record your numbers, right? That's the whole point. And you can make a free account to use this as well. So just having a look here, we've got the top 25 games this year after 3 votes, Dylan.
Yep. Oh, do you want me to try and guess?
No.
Damn.
Oh, you can if you want.
No, I won't.
Okay. Hawthorn over Geelong on Easter Monday is currently rated a 9.5 on True Footy IMDb. Carlton and Geelong is rated 2nd. Port and West Coast is rated 3rd. I reckon I might have had something to do with that.
Port and West Coast.
Yeah. That was a 2-pointer in round 2. It was a good game.
Yep.
Sydney v Melbourne, good shout. That's ranked highly. Collingwood and Melbourne.
Sydney, Melbourne.
And King's birthday. Sydney, Melbourne was a high scoring 131 to 114 game.
Gotcha.
So you can rate games like this on IMDb-ish. This is not IMDb. But let's have a look at the leaderboard. We have a leaderboard for rating players out of 100. We're trying to determine what the True Footy audience thinks, who are the best players in comp. Obviously, it's so early right now that the numbers don't mean a lot, but we have a leaderboard, Dylan.
Dacos 1?
Dacos 1.
Yep.
Shea Bolton, number 2.
Wow.
Josh Dacos, number 3. Rogie.
Rogie.
No, but
he made multiple accounts.
no, how the game works is it loads it up and it throws random players at you. So you he wouldn't have gone through the 800, 900 players in the comp, because we have Harley Reid in number 5.
Okay. Who's 4?
Josh Dunkley. So obviously this will build out over time. Right now it's a snapshot.
We haven't got enough data.
We don't have enough data, but it's so exciting to see this coming through. Rogie.
Love that. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah. So by all means, check it out, guys. The ladder predictor as well. By the way, there's a forum on there. So I'd love people to go to the forum. If you find something buggy with the site, let me know and I can fix it immediately. Yeah. Some people have used that already. And it's very helpful, because when we first released it, there was no way of me finding out if people couldn't get it to work.
Yep.
And it seemed fine. There's a couple of little bugs, even though I'm finding it's a brand new site.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, if you remember on there too, I guess go to the forum, email.
Yeah.
Those kind of things.
Yeah,
we can
absolutely.
If you jump on it then. We get some feedback.
Yeah. Which
is nice. Rogie says, bruh, I rated Josh Dacos like an 86.
Nice.
Yeah, Rogie. Yeah. I reckon that's a wrap, Jesse.
It is a wrap.
How long have we been on the stream for?
It just didn't rhyme.
Yes. What was that thing that we had the other night? Chicken wrap.
Oh, yeah.
That was bad.
Nah.
That was bad from you.
That
is a wrap, guys. We will pack it up. When are we back, Jesse? We're not back until
we're back next Monday.
Next Monday.
At this stage, yep.
Is the next time.
Yeah.
I'm really excited for the draft. The draft is coming thick and fast over the next few weeks.
Gross.
We've got lots of stuff coming up. We've got lots on the website. We've got I reckon we'd have to have a mock coming up pretty soon, surely.
Yeah, we're pretty soon, I reckon, to a mock.
Yeah.
We got some best 23 videos we're going to do next week.
Yep.
Maybe have a look at Richmond and West Coast, just of some future best 23s. We'll work through those teams. I think that the teams that their seasons are over, then we start moving to that kind of content for them. Whereas those teams in contention, that content will be focused on the season, right?
Yep.
So
Absolutely. Guys, thank you all for being with us, and we'll see you in the next one.
go.